Alright, let's see if we're live. Although I'll bet we will be. In like 5 minutes or 2 minutes. Or, yep, 1 minute. Nope, not there yet. Come alive! Because you always have the like 30-second minute delay. Yep. No.
Hey! I'm TPAW.
I'm the Karnage.
And this is Crazy Peas again. My eyes look a little funky. It's because I slept with my contact on accident, and now my eye has said fuck you all day, and it's really irritated and stuff. I've even applied eye drops. Gonna have to try to figure out something. But hopefully it repairs itself, and hopefully the eye is fine by the time we do this again.
Here's something for y'all to think of. That's what a relationship should look like.
Oh, yeah.
I just turned down the brightness because, you know, I'm on the Twitter or
Yes.
X. Because I just put out, you know, tweeted out that we're doing this lunacy.
Yep.
Alright, now I can close that. Alright, since we're doing sound bites, I'm going to go over the first 10 that naturally came to my Instagram just to listen to for shits and giggles. So that way, y'all know I'm not nuts and this is just random crap that pops up on my Insta.
Yeah.
What is the most beautiful way a person can kill themselves? I said by loving someone you can't have. Don't bother walking a mile in my shoes. You get bored. Try spending 30 seconds in my head. You want to put a bullet through it. Don't bother walking a mile.
No, I like that one the most because it's the truth. Don't walk a mile in my shoes. Spend a minute in my brain.
Yeah.
When you go back to your own body, go fucking insane.
Yep.
Alfred, I apologize for being a monster. No one's ever apologized to me for turning me into one. I can make
You like that one? You want to talk about that one real quick, or?
I think it's kind of funny because the first one you played, I get told I'm insane a lot whenever I talk about the workouts we do at the gym.
Yes.
I get called insane a lot.
Oh, so you want me to go back to that one? or are we good?
We're good.
Bodybuilder won't judge you for working out. A millionaire won't judge you for starting a business. A football player won't judge you for playing ball. It's always the low-life losers who have something to say. Bodybuilder.
Going back to your point you just made.
Yep. Yeah, it's kind of crazy though because like there are so many people around me in real life that they don't go to the gym, they don't do a lot of the workouts and stuff, and so it's
And they don't deal with their emotions either. We've talked about that just shooting the shit.
Yep, no they don't. A lot of people like to keep their emotions, they tend to keep them on Front Street, and so they're easily offended, and they
Love
constantly
playing the victim card.
Yes, and they also are easily triggered.
Well, I don't think it's triggered. I think they are purposefully becoming triggered no matter what you say, so that way they can treat you like shit.
Yeah, I can see that.
I tell you, I'm a man who believes that I died 20 years ago. And I live like a man who is dead already. I have no fear whatsoever of anybody or anything. A word.
Thoughts?
Play that again?
A word. I tell you, I'm a man who believes that I died 20 years ago. And I live like a man who is dead already. I have no fear whatsoever of anybody or anything.
When you've died and come back, it's hard to be afraid of too much of anything because you feel like you've already been through the thing that everyone fears the most, which is death.
Okay, I see your viewpoint on it. My viewpoint was, how can I be afraid to die if I act like I'm already dead and I'm just here to, you know, shit.
Yeah. It's a fair point.
When he said we should have met before. But Jody Picoult said, I taste her and realize I've been starving. I have loved before, but it did not feel like this. I have kissed before, but it did not burn me alive. Even if I did not know it until now. I have been waiting for this person forever. When he said,
I just think that's a romantic little.
Yeah,
Bing.
it's a play with romance, which seems to be something that people. I've been seeing a lot of commentary on the internet, especially since that's where a lot of our world exists now, is on the internet. I've been seeing the commentary about how romance is dead or dying, and how
That means you can't in your life.
because like people have been having issues with finding love or finding affection or anything like that. So then you get gender politics involved because everyone's invested in the gender politics because they are super hurt in their life. They've been dealing with a lot of trauma.
It's the where I was a few years back. It's the how could you do this to me? When did you decide to no longer love me? Or the why can't I find anybody that loves me? And then I came to the realization, oh wait, fuck everybody. I have to love myself first.
Yeah. Which is a good thing to do because especially in this
okay,
situation.
if someone
Yeah.
ever says, I would take
Go ahead, keep going. I didn't mean to start that one. I was just going through for 2 seconds to turn it off. But yeah.
No, yeah, it's a good situation to have, especially with what you're dealing with, because, and I was talking to Howlett about it outside on the fact that you're in a situation where
No matter
spouse,
which way I go, I'm burned.
yeah, no matter which way you go, no matter how well you act, you don't even get kisses, you don't get hugs, you don't get affection. You're basically treated like a business partner. Not a great business partner because she doesn't respect you, but she should. But you are treated like a business partner, and that is a common thread or commonality that is plaguing really the world. And in fact, I saw it being talked about on the debates last night, Republican debates. They talked about the epidemic.
It's not really an epidemic. Here's the issue. I got married to be happy. No. Marriage is literally a business still. The only difference between the male viewpoint and the female viewpoint, a female has to feel love. But the way a man shows that he loves his female is by working his ass to the bone and trying to show the kids, or at least the boys, excuse me, how to not be a bitch.
Yeah,
In my
it's like your
opinion.
family. Yeah.
And
And
well, I don't
quitting
feel
when it's
loved. You
hard.
don't show me any affection, you bitch, because I'm around. In my situation, you bitch, you complain I'm around too much, so I go to the gym all the time, so that way I'm not around. And then you run away because you don't feel like you're getting enough attention. Well, which is it? Do you want attention or not, dumbass?
Yeah.
That was like my whole situation. Then I'm like, throw, la 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 la. This is quite literally business still. If I become a multimillionaire, she's gonna go at it like a multimillionaire. COO instead of, because I'm the CEO.
Yeah, co-executive officer.
Yeah.
That's CEO. For all
Yeah.
the audience that doesn't know
CEO,
that.
and she's just the operating officer. I'm the executive officer. I made the millions, but ooh, I get to operate it. Yeah, sure. Here's all your money. Have your $500,000 a month. I'll take my $500,000, pay off the house, pay off all the cars, buy me extravagant shit, go screw whoever I want, and you can't say shit. You got your damn deal. I paid you off. Now shut up and make sure the house doesn't burn down and the kids are taken care of. Bye.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, when you enter a marriage, and this is something that I can speak to because I was terrified of it. I was utterly terrified of the concept because when I was growing up as a child, the current world that we live in right now, I would be terrified to be a 17, 18-year-old child who is becoming an adult, who is experiencing the rite of passage, if you will, in our society, and has to deal with the throes of moving towards being an adult, moving towards being out of the nest, and coming into your own, becoming your own
Reality.
person. Yes. Yeah. And when I was 18, 19 is when I met your sister. And 19 is when And about a year later, after I was 19, like we're talking 20,
I'm still
21
in
years
one
old.
of them, okay?
I got like 12 of them,
One
so
too, so.
go ahead. You don't seem to care about them being refrigerated, so. But I was terrified of marriage, of commitment. And it's not because of the fact that I was having issues with commitment. I was the guy out of our family that, like, while my dad was suffering from divorce, and he was suffering...
depression and all his bullshit.
Yeah, and suffering from the inability of being able to keep a stable relationship. And my brother was the same way. He learned from my dad. I was the one that desired that deep connection. I was the one that desired that the dream, the romance dream, in which you find the one, and then you have like this deep relationship, and it isn't just a hit it and quit it type thing. And so for a while there, I was getting asked by everybody, when are you going to marry her, when are you going to marry her? And I was like, going, wait, marriage? Wait, what?
Are y'all fucking serious with y'all stupidities?
Yeah, because it's like, I'd watched as every single person that I, like, save for like 2 examples, I'd watched as every person out there did the marriage thing, but then the dynamic shifts, and then suddenly the woman is wanting more control and more, more.
Going into the feminist thing.
Yes.
I want to be equal.
Yeah.
You are equal. You do your shit, I do my shit. It's literally what everybody wants, 50-50, even though it's not 50-50. It should be 100% on your half of the crap you do.
Yeah, it's like it's the corrupted feminist perspective in which the woman tries to turn the man into a slave or into somebody who they have very little agency in their relationship, and then all their freedom starts to go away because the woman wants to essentially turn the man into what they viewed the man turning them into decades ago. When I was dealing with marriage and my terror of it, I didn't want to end up in a position where I would be just like my dad and be in that situation where you were dealing with a very destructive relationship, and then it starts to just sabotage your parts of your life, whether you liked it or not. You were all like me. I was dead set on being me and having
you two just living together, and y'all have family without having the
without
legal
having the
and
formalities
bullshit
of it. And you at the time had told me, you're like, well, you guys are together, you guys have kids already, so why don't you just
fill out the stupid paperwork.
Yeah, get the legalities out of the way, and if you're so afraid of not doing the marriage right the first time, you can just do another marriage later on, like a renewal of sorts. That way you got the bullshit one done, and then you get the real one. And that's what you'd said.
Well, I still feel like that. It's because I wasn't pushing you to get married.
Right.
Me and you talked. It was like, well, if you want everybody else to shut up, just do the paperwork so they'll shut up.
Yeah.
And then, if you want to renew your vows because you feel more in love and you two, still feel that strongly about each other, then you do it at that time.
Yeah. And so...
Or at least that was the thought behind the words that came out.
And it's kind of interesting and weird because in person, in reality, in real life, not digital life, I see you dealing with your shit, with that situation. I see Howlett dealing with his shit, with his situation.
Okay.
And I'm seeing so many people around that are having similar shit happening, and it makes me be like, go, think about where I was at a young age and being like, I'd be terrified about being in a real world like this, especially with the concept of romance and love.
Okay.
Dating.
Okay. One sec. But you see how I've dealt with the lunacy of my life.
I think you're handling it ridiculously well.
Well, that's what I was going to ask. Do you think I'm being a good example of how to properly do it?
Yes, because you're also keeping your individuality.
And I'm not just a stupid little puppet.
Right. Yeah. No. See, you're keeping your individuality, and you're handling
by constant lunacy.
Yeah, you're handling it the best way you can because it's like, in the situation you're in, like, let me put it this way.
That's what you were afraid of.
Right. Let me put it to you this way. When I was younger, I was like 18, 19, 20 years old. I was watching other people deal with similar situations, and I would always think that it was super easy and simple, cut and dry of, okay, break up and then take the kids and then, do whatever you're going to do. But it's not that simple. It really isn't. It's not as simple as what, your, favorite person, Tate, would say, or any of these people out there. Because then you have the complexities of, like, what does your kids think about it? And will you
How's that going to ruin their lives?
Yes.
That sort of
And,
shit,
and suddenly you're like, if you suddenly rip the rug out from underneath them, even though one of them is clearly begging for it, we go to the gym with him, we take him with us, and we hear about him and his woes and everything.
And his viewpoint, yep.
Yeah, and we hear him talking about it and everything, and he doesn't seem to understand the fact that he doesn't know what he's asking for. Like the drama that would ensue, the backlash,
I don't
the
think there would be as much drama.
Right.
My thought is, I know the way the current system is set up,
Mm-hmm.
so no matter what, I'm going to get fucked on the end deal.
Right.
And I'm not going to do that to my progeny, my future.
Yeah. I'm seeing the...
Does that make sense from, I guess, the way I look at the world?
Yeah.
Would be the best way to explain it?
Yeah, and I'm seeing the multi-layered, multi-versatile layers.
The way I handle my bullshit.
The complexities of that, and also the complexities that I see that anyone that's in your situation, because there are like millions of men, young men, who are in your situation right now, or worse.
Or older men, like, fucking got me by 10, 20 years.
Yeah, and I talked to one on Twitter. I won't mention their name.
That doesn't surprise me.
But I talked to them on Twitter, and I was in a space with them, and they were describing their whole situation to me, and I was like, well, shit. And he's like, wait, do you know somebody like this? I'm like, yeah, my bro. I was like, my wife's brother. Like, I know someone who is dealing with your exact situation. And so he was like, well, how does he handle it? And so I told him how he handles it, and he's like, I should be taking notes. And I'm like, really? And he's like, yeah, like...
Yeah, because when you jump straight into the everybody says, because, God, we've all got your back, but yet the system goes, gasoline, throw a match, I'm going to watch you burn.
Yeah.
It's like, then why the fuck would I even touch the gasoline canister?
Yeah.
Fuck off, dude. Just let it wilt.
Yeah,
and I'll be the one standing here like I'm the one rose out of the entire dead yard.
Yeah, see, and the thing, okay, so I'll tell you what he told me. The thing
Or
that
the way he's,
the way he saw it is that he keeps succumbing to self-pity and shame.
Oh,
that keeps succumbing to the whole, I'm being told by all these women that I am doing it wrong and this and that, and the whole corrupted feminist angle that it gets talked about a lot. It's the whole,
and it said it,
men are
okay,
evil.
that's your viewpoint, I'm going to stand my ground, this is who the fuck I am, deal with it.
Right, he doesn't handle like that. And
he crumbles.
Yeah, he was crumbling. And I was talking about it, and I was like, well, this is how my brother handles it, and this is how he's dealing with it. And honestly, I hope I'd have the same exact resolve myself if I were in that situation.
I think you would.
And he's all like, so he's not succumbing to self-pity, he's not shaming himself. I'm like, no. If anything, he's lighting the match and wanting to see what the flames say, and it's like, okay, well, if the shit burns, then let's make it bigger. And I'm like, and people will...
Nice bonfire to keep warm. Yeah. That's my whole mentality, I agree.
I told him,
yep.
Some women will hate that. That's up to them to decide on what they want to think.
That's the personal stuff.
I'm like, but honestly, I told him, like, I'd much rather be hated as a person and have everyone trying to come after me and trying to, tell me that I'm this evil monster, and yet keep my free agency, keep my resolve, keep my stubbornness, keep the thing that's keeping me alive, the survivor,
my own brain,
survivor quality, the I'm gonna dominate, I'm gonna conquer, I'm gonna do me, and while you all are all crying in a corner about how bad your life is, I'm gonna dominate and I'm gonna, keep going, and it's the way that I see you doing it. With your situation, with your life.
Oh yeah.
You get up, you take care of your kids, and then you go to make extra cash on the side. You do your side hustle.
Or I just go to the gym all day.
Yeah, and then you do the gym thing. You're taking care of your body. You're like, I frequently, like, when we're sitting there changing, and you think that I'm not listening probably, or think that I'm spacing out, but I'm listening to everything you're saying. You're talking about your diet shift to, you know, that day, or you're talking about what food you're going to eat. You're talking about what you might switch it to. You're talking about how many calories
you... on my diet, yep.
Yeah, you're going on about how your calorie intake. Like, this fucker goes deep on his fitness and his, you know, taking care of himself. I mean,
my mentality too, yeah.
Who else is he gonna do that? Like, who else is gonna take care of him? Nobody. Himself. And you know, his current wife is definitely not going to. She's, you know, doing the... If you're in a world where you have let's say you have a species, humans, and you have a gender, female, and that entire and the internet is plagued with a culture that says men are evil, that says by principle that men don't even have to do anything. All they have to do is breathe oxygen. And by principle, they are supposedly evil. They took no action, they did nothing, and yet they're supposedly evil. And if you have a world like that, where he's forced to live in...
If you didn't do anything, that makes you even more evil than if you're somebody who actually did something.
Yes. And we're also in a world where you don't even have to do anything. Like, all you have to do is be entertained, say a bunch of stuff on a podcast, make somebody cry, and now you're suddenly a monster. You don't have to actually hit anybody. You don't have to actually kill anybody. You don't have to actually do anything negative. Like, all you have to do is say some things on a podcast, have somebody be mad and think that you're cruel for saying nasty, mean things, and now suddenly you're branded a monster, now your free agency's taken away, now your assets are ripped out from underneath you, someone may have been manipulative, doesn't matter. The law is biased to their specific gender. I was listening...
Or somebody above the law
There
has decided.
is a podcast on Daily Wire. Candace Owens did
it's also on
surgical
her YouTube
research.
channel.
Yeah, did surgical research, like literally on the screen. If you guys
she showed
care
everything.
all about data and evidence, which is what should matter.
Especially
not
court.
hearsay, not she said this, he said this,
Oh,
he said that
yeah.
mean thing.
Yeah.
I cried. I had a bad night, mental health night, because that person said this or that. She went past all of that and dug up the research. Because Tate went on his giant rant and said, pull up everything, pull out the camera footage, pull this, pull that, do this. Giant 10, 20-minute rant. And it's like, and if you are someone who's like, oh yeah, he's just talking big, okay, yeah, sure he was talking big, but Candace is a reporter. And I know that we don't have that much faith in reporters anymore because a lot of them lack integrity. She has integrity. And so she did the research, and she dug up before the lady who accused the Tates of it met the Tates. She dug up the guys that the girl buried, and the guys that she screwed over, and one of them's in prison right now for stuff she did to him, and the courts were biased towards her. She dug up the research on that.
Bias in her favor.
Yeah, bias in her favor. I hope that the audience is smart enough to understand that.
Well, I wanted to, clarify, just in case somebody decided to say something stupid.
Fair. And so, so she went into that previous thing, and then she went into how the path coalesces and segues into Tate. And the report, according to the reports, Andrew's not even part of it.
No!
Because on the court document, it just says
hitting.
TT, or Tristan Tate. It doesn't
She
even
was
say
going
Andrew.
after his brother, and because Andrew's the older brother, we'll just get them both.
And for some reason, Tristan Tate paid $4,000 for a plane ticket for her. Still mystifies me, but it is what it is.
Well, I mean, when you have millions of dollars, and you bring a
You're
girl
pointing that out
who
to me
wants
in the
to
pool.
hang out for a week with you, and basically flirting with you, like, okay, yeah, sure, I'll bring the dumb bitch past for a week, and she'll have a vacation, and I'll fuck the shit out of her, and it'll be a good time for me, because I don't give a shit. It has nothing to do with feelings. It's, she wanted to hook up, and I said, yeah, sure, screw it.
Yeah, and what people do in the personal business is up to them.
Well, yeah, because him and his brother even talked about it on another podcast, how we should have done a deeper dive, and now we know, so that'll never happen again, because we're going to go so deep a dive with background checks and everything. Yeah, if you even, you know, attempt and you have that stuff, or you claim every man you've ever been with is, even though you asked them, you know, BDSM and, you know, kinky shit.
Yep.
I didn't want it this one time. Out of the hundreds or thousands or however many times you screwed the guy. What the fuck?
Yeah, and the crazy part is that this segues into the point I was making before, which, as a young man or as a young teenage boy who is turning into a man later, like, you know, 2 or 3 years from now, or they're turning into a man now, they're turning 18, they're learning what red looks like, and they're either having they're either having a very good relationship with their parents, or their relationship with their parents went to shit, and they're about to move out, and they're lost, and they have no direction. Watching someone like Tate, who is extremely successful, you don't even have to know about his inner business functions. That's something I was curious about, is how his business works and all that stuff, because he talks about all the numerous businesses, and, hello, business student, I went Strayer. I was curious about how it all worked and everything, but for some reason that detail eludes. But I was looking into
that detail. What you have to do is pay for the.
I understand that part.
That part, because then he has the guys from the stuff he's learned. Other people who actually make the money teach you how to do that sort of thing, and I understand it, but yeah.
But it segues into the idea that, you know, if you're mad at Tate and you guys, whoever you are, decide you hate me because of the fact that I am factual and logical, and I'm not going to let my emotions of what I feel about Tate, what I felt about him before, what I feel about him now, get in the way of data and facts. Again, business student. Part of business is you don't let emotions drive your actions.
It's also a male
I looked at the facts, and I looked at people's reactions, and if I was not a 30-something male who's married and has to be very stoic sometimes and appear emotionless sometimes in order to do the decisions I have to make, because there's a lot of hard calls you have to make in this life. If I was a very emotionally driven young man who, whenever I saw a female react to him, or I saw a female react to anybody, or I saw a male react to them, and I saw people just sort of jumping on the train and just start making fun of somebody just because the public decided to make fun of them, and they decided to jump on the trend just because they think it's funny and cute, but yet they're really just slandering somebody for hearsay, I would start to get suspicious, and I would start to get confused, and the type of guy I am at that age, I definitely would be sus. I definitely would stop trusting people that I think I know or believe I know, because what if I'm the guy? What if I'm that person? What if I am the one who gets targeted? What if I am the one who has all my assets or all my stuff pulled up out of the mud because someone decided that I'm somehow a monster, or someone that decided I'm too mean or whatever? I would be next. And then therefore, who would I fucking trust? Would I trust you?
I think that goes into a couple sounds back. Everybody calls me a monster and wants me to apologize, but nobody apologizes for what the hell they did to me to turn me into the monster.
Right.
That's kind of the mentality that you're realizing is more prevalent now than it's ever been in the last, since you've been alive.
Yeah. I mean, I'm in my 30s, and I feel like in the last 10, 15 years, I've gone through like 3 lifetimes of struggles.
Right.
And it's not me whining about it. It's me looking at it and being like, let's really assess this, like, right now. Like, let's really assess, like, is it really as bad as I think it is, or is it child's play? Like, because there are so many people who are older than me that would literally make fun of trauma and struggle. Like, they would literally make fun of the pain. Like, make fun of somebody. And they'd go, you think your life is bad. He, I'm superior. Like, that's literally the reaction people give. And that's literally the reaction people tend to show. And so, therefore, it makes me be like, how is my son going to handle that? Like, how is Arya or Cass going to handle that when they're older? Because if all their adults around them are making fun of pain, making fun of struggle, that means that they're next. That means that they're going to get made fun of too. And I myself, whenever Arya or Cass start to fuss like they did tonight, I don't make fun of them. I don't. I try to guide them, and I try to show them, you have a bed. Let me go ahead and help you install the fan. Let me show you how it works. Arian literally was like, Daddy, the plug isn't connected properly, because I was trying to figure out why the fan wasn't working. And he's like, look at the plug down there. I'm like, oh, it's getting loose again. So I had like, I'm gonna have to replace that soon. So I went ahead and plugged it back in. Then I plugged the fan back in. You know, simple stuff like that. But on the internet, somebody would lose their shit over it. They turn it into clickbait over a fan. Just you know,
or just a misunderstanding. Yeah.
Yeah. Or they would turn such a simple situation and turn it into something that's way more than what it is. And the young men these days, when they say directionless, when they say misguided, or they say emotionally fraught, you know, that's the stuff Tate is appealing to. Like, he's appealing to men who are directionless, who are lost, who are affected negatively.
Because the whole world has thrown him under the bus and said, shut up, grow a pair.
Yeah, and when I listen to women on the internet, and I listen to a lot of them, they think they are far more important. Like, they think they are somehow superior. They think that their struggles mean way more. Like, they're like, well, when I dealt with this, and that's the tone of voice that they're giving. And I'm like, wait a minute. So, you want equality, but you don't want equality. You want equality if it benefits you, but you don't want equality for everybody.
Okay.
That's not fair.
Blow your nose, and I'll give the funny little, even though most people hate, like, Fresh and Fit for doing this sort of thing.
Sometimes I'm okay with them.
But, I mean, it's a thing, it's like, you realize you're acting like a man, right? You're making the male argument, well, I've dealt with, well, nobody gives a shit, and if you were a man, it's, you yourself would tell the man who's telling you, what's coming out of your own mouth, shut the fuck up, quit being a bitch. So, no offense, shut the fuck up, quit being a bitch. And Myron gets roasted by women and everybody online for saying exactly what the women are bitching that men are doing. It's like you're going to bitch and complain that he's bitching and complaining, but yet you're screaming and bitching the same way he would bitch and complain at you and tell you, shut up and grow up. So you realize how big a hypocrite you sound like, right?
Right, and
they roast him in his comment. Well, not in his comments, but I mean,
yeah,
everywhere else.
Yeah, and
they bitch and complain about what he says, even though it's factual.
So let me be the brave Gryffindor that I am, because you know Slytherins tend to be ambitious and cunning, but they tend to run when they're struggling. Gryffindors tend to be brave and they tend to be courageous and they tend to drive into the line of fire and get themselves killed, or you know, like Harry Potter, they luck out and gain points for Gryffindor. We brave the brave Gryffindor and say that I can show admiration for the things Tate does, and I can show the fact that there are some things that he does are questionable, which is fine.
Or he's done in the past.
If his business is purely driven by a webcam thing, he probably should have found a byline, because then there's a way of saying, hey, I am this smart, I have a webcam business, but I also put out product, and I also put out this too. But his big product is knowledge, just like a lot of people out there. His big product, if you really pay attention, the only thing different between him and, say, a workout guru is that he's teaching you how to make money. Versus, say, the workout guru is teaching you how to stay muscled or fit or healthy. And, yeah, he does the webcam thing. Yeah, there are women that sign up for it.
He hasn't done that since 2011.
Okay, so that means that because that's what I've heard. But it's like...
But see, that's the thing. Everybody likes to bring up the whole webcam thing, but it's like, well, are you a Christian? Yeah, so why are you bringing up my past?
He's actually Muslim.
That was... No. The Christians
biracial
are
Muslim.
Usually the ones who bring it up, and that's why he went to, you know, Islam, Muslim religion, because all the Christians are the ones who are bitching and complaining that he had a webcam business freaking 2011, so 12 years back.
Yeah.
They're bitching about something. He said he left it, I think it was in 09 or 2011 when he left the business. That at the beginning of the year, that's the year where that just dropped off. He stopped.
Yeah.
So everybody bringing up his past means they're not actually looking at what he's currently doing, and that's where he has the biggest bitch. Quit bringing up my past. Isn't part of being a Christian or a good human. You're supposed to forgive what I did in my past because I've moved past that and no longer do that.
Yeah.
It's like everybody gives him crap because he says men shouldn't watch porn, but their retort to that, well, you use webcam business. It's like, yeah, I left that. I've learned. That's been more than 10 years ago. It was a decade back. It was more than a decade back. Can we, like, move on from this?
Yeah, so he's a self-help guru, is basically what it is. He's a self-help...
Kind of.
Self-help guru about business and about how to make money and how to teach someone how to do it if you left the webcam business behind. I haven't paid for the real world, so... You said that. You said it before.
I plan to do that next month because this month didn't line up like I was meaning to, but I might not be able to do it next month. So we'll see what happens between now and the end of the year. If I pay for it, I pay for it. If I don't, then I'll figure out another way to take care of that.
I kind of do want to bring up something that needs to be talked about. It's something that people don't seem to understand, is that feminism isn't about being anti-male. Feminism is about being equal. While there being a focus on women's rights, and there being a focus on equality with women, and a focus on, being able to lift them up because of the fact that there have been many of them have been silenced, or have been many of them pushed to the side. True feminism is about actual equality. So it's similar to egalitarianism.
Okay. What was... Somebody made a viewpoint. This is fourth wave feminism, like the Fourth Reich.
Right. I've heard that.
It's no longer... This is our mantra, even though we don't give a shit about that, because nowadays, no woman anywhere in the Western world, or what's considered Western countries, can say they don't have the same equality as men, because most of them actually have more equality than men, because they instantly get the kids, the house, all the money with the divorce or anything that goes wrong. You don't even have to be married to them nowadays. You had a kid with them. Okay, she decided to leave you because you don't make her happy. You're just an asshole.
Yeah.
Or she made up a reason, and now, haha, you get the middle finger and you're completely fucked.
Yeah. I feel like if we went back to what feminism is supposed to be, we went back to what it is truly, which is about helping lift up women and their rights while also recognizing that men have rights too, and
that's
having men's
where I
rights,
like just pearly
equality.
Things, because she's brought up. What are you talking about?
So
women have always had more rights than men. Because she brought up way back when, like in the 1600s and 1700s, how literally if a woman, if her name is on the property, she can sell it and doesn't have to share her money with her husband. But if he sells it, these were the laws back in Europe, back in the day, you have to give her half the money. That was the law. So women have always got the benefit and men have always gotten screwed. So this women need to work and do everything just like men was a lie. They just wanted more people to work so they could put in minimum wage to screw the man from making enough money to provide for his family. Now that we have minimum wage, men don't get paid enough to be the only person working in the house, to provide for their family, have a house, a vehicle, or some mode of transportation, even if it's your feet, be able to afford a house and all the bills.
Yeah, I think
the way it is nowadays, especially with what's happened since 2020,
yeah,
we've all been fucked in the ass without lube.
Yeah, I feel like if they adjusted the law to benefit both genders, all genders, and if they benefited, they shifted the perspective to where all equality happens, which would help your situation as well, at least it should. Well, let's hope that she adjusts.
I'm not worried about it. It's a long game. Watch the damn thing burn.
Yeah, it would make the situation better though for the world, because if you introduced the original version of feminism, which helps lift up women, give them their rights, make them feel secure, while not demonizing men and not demonizing the other gender, and then allowing, on a holistic view, more and more clusters of people being able to heal, being able to get through things, and then on a more macro level, having situations better for the home.
World is, oh, you feel like shit. Okay, here's your drugs. Or okay, go to a therapist, spend all the money you just made, and while working, which is supposed to go to help your family survive, to some asshole who went to college for 4 to 10 years to know how your brain supposedly works.
Yeah.
It's all a guessing game. With doctors, that's why I don't like any doctors. To basically tell you, okay, this is what your issue is, and I'm going to give you this drug, which might help you, but it might also make you want to kill yourself and your children. Have fun! Because it's throwing darts at a dartboard.
Yeah. A lot of
If you get a bullseye, yay for you. If you don't, we'll try again.
Yeah.
Here's hoping you didn't off yourself and kill the whole fucking town.
Which goes back to my original point that if we did what I talked about and fed into what you're talking about, it would actually help a lot of young men and women, because it would lift up their rights, it would lift up them as people, and then the men wouldn't be so directionless, and the young men would have more of a solid
Footing.
baseline and footing to operate in the world, and also romance could come back. Like, good romance could come back. Not the demonized weirdness that we have now, where people are terrified of dating and terrified of dealing with anything to do with humanity.
Well, what I keep hearing on the terrified of dating part is, you be a gentleman to a lady, you open the door, or you open the car door. I can do it myself. I am not a weak, worthless, good for nothing. Nobody called you weak and nobody called you worthless. I'm being a gentleman. So, you're yelling at me, so feminism killed chivalry, and then all the women bitch that no men are chivalrous. I mean,
the fourth wave you're talking
about. The stupidity is beyond irritating for me.
Yeah.
Because it's like, how can you claim there's no chivalry left when you're the frickin' people who killed it? You bitch, you complain when anybody does anything nice for you, especially if they're male and you're female, or because you've had a bad situation. Any guy being polite or nice is trying to get in your pants, rape, or molest you. It's like, we're not all like that. Yes, there are the evil ones. Evil ones are everywhere. Those are the ones you should report to HR and any, police and other people. But I was afraid. Yet you were afraid because you let him get in your head, or you let somebody else's story from a situation that they went through get in your head.
Cause terror and make you cause you to project onto the next person. That way,
or
the next
in your
person
current
gets punished
situation,
for
so that way you
previous
don't follow through, or because you didn't feel that they gave a shit, and you didn't go back and keep bitching and complaining and reporting and poking the bear until something happened.
Yep.
It's not your fault, but at the same time, it is your fault for not following the steps to move forward and accelerate and move up.
Which is part of accountability.
Yeah, and no offense to most females, they're not accountable for their decisions. Well, I did this. Well, that makes you look like the dumbest idiot in the whole damn room, right? Well, and then it gets into a bitch fest. It's like, and you're not being accountable for what you said or did. Okay. Well, we're done talking.
Yeah, there's a lot of people out there of either gender that
it's going on both sides nowadays.
Yeah, need to have accountability. Need to have, and we're not talking about, like, I myself am not talking about accusatory accountability, where you're pointing a finger at them and you're trying to shame them or you're trying to blame them for anything. What I'm talking about is being able to own your mistakes, being able to own
you're half of the
you
situation
do.
If it's more than one,
yeah.
or if it's two people. Because what I always hate hearing is, well, he did. Okay, if that's what he did, what did you do before? Or what did you say that could have driven the other person to doing that?
Yeah, what led to that point?
Because here's the funny part. I've also heard it from the whole lesbian thing. It's, yes, we're all independent. Yes, we hate men. Okay, but the more masculine female in the lesbian relationship bitches and cusses about the female feminine because all she does is bitch and cuss like you're a guy. Just some of the stuff that pops up, like, yeah, well, even the male lesbians or more masculine lesbians in the lesbian relationship bitching, dude, she's treating me like I'm a guy. I just want to off myself.
Yeah.
It's like, wow, we've gotten that bad as a civilization.
Yeah, as a society, as a civilization, as a culture in our country.
Yeah, the Western cultures, yes.
What I'm hearing about other nations, though, it's like, yes, the focus is on the Western nations, and yes, a lot of us act out or lash out or do not so great things. But I'm hearing that it's actually common across the board throughout the world, and it needs to change.
The majority of it is Western culture. It's not all in the Western culture, but because like Japan and other cultures adopt a lot of the Western culture mentality, it's bleeding into everybody.
Yeah.
Yes, look, we're helping everybody else become just like us. So suicidal, homicidal, and fuck everybody because we all want to kill each other. And nobody should have kids anymore because fuck the world, we want it all to burn. But yet at the same time, because you're doing that and making it hard and completely illogical and horrible to be in a relationship, we will no longer have a next generation. So you will be working until you're 90 years old and half dead and can't move. And being the guy who shits his pants in his adult diapers at work. At 80 to 90 years old, in a factory, half dead, trip, kill yourself on one of the machines, like they used to have in the 50s, and the 40s, and the 60s, and the 70s, before. Look at all these rules we have, so that way that shit doesn't happen anymore. We're literally reverting. We're going backwards. That's my bitch about it.
Yeah, no, we are definitely reverting as a society and as a culture. Instead of us having progress, because that's what they cheered about a lot, like years ago. Like they cheered a lot about progress. They kept saying, "Oh, progress is being made. Oh, progress is being made," about all these things that we're doing, and it's like, and now the last
you literally gave a license to a child and said, "Here's $1 million car," and then the child decided to run over 1,000 people, and oops.
Yeah.
That's how far our technology is. Our technology is 10 times more advanced than the current capacity of the brain. And something I heard earlier today is we all used to be a community where we could get together and everybody had fun as a group. But now the community is so big because we can talk to everybody on the internet all the time. But yet we do it and it's in our hand and we're not actually interacting with people face to face. So we're actually reverting because we're getting the interaction from everybody all the time, but yet we're not actually interacting with anybody because we're hiding in our own fucking little mini cells in our room, house, or wherever the hell you hide all the time.
Yep. And especially after COVID, where everyone got locked, like people basically self-isolated themselves because of safety or
everybody but me. That was the funny part about
because of medical safety.
About the flu that became the plague. Because while everybody was being hidden, me being a DoorDasher at the time, I was told, "Oh, you're an essential worker. They can't stop you from working. Tell them kiss my ass."
Yeah.
Just make sure you wear the masks while you're going into businesses so nobody can cry, scream, or yell. And I did it to appease the idiots. And I just kept trucking.
Yeah, no,
you saw it. I just kept moving. All right, cool. We're gonna say, okay, here you go for the dum dums, and just keep moving. All right, I'm down.
Yeah, even these days, like you can't sit straight for 10, 20 minutes at a time, more than 20 minutes at a time, because he'll go into his app on Grubhub or whatever app he's using, and then he'll be like, okay, there's jobs to be done, I'll see you guys later, and then he goes off to go make money and stuff. And it's only when we're doing this, or when we're doing gym or whatever, that he can actually stay in one spot relatively, and, you know, kind of just talk or
I don't
chill
like
or
sitting still.
Yeah, he's
I'm
very
very irritated.
Yeah, he likes to run off and make money, is what it is. And
well, it's not just making the money; it's being active.
Yeah.
Because no matter how much money I make, because I mean today's like the first day I just stopped and didn't do shit. I literally took a day to do nothing. And what did I end up doing while I was doing nothing? I got so bored I went to the gym. Literally, I swam for an hour and a half. I worked out a little bit. I'm like, okay, done.
Yep.
And then I literally just found podcasts or something to do, and I just kept moving and never stopped. I found other ways to keep myself active. I was and here's the funny part. I was sitting still for so long, somebody shit their pants and called the po-po on me because I was sitting in the shade under a damn tree next to a park.
Yeah,
on a public street. Go f yourself, kiss my ass, you rude buttholes. If I'm sitting in my car on a public street, shut up. Don't call the cops. And if you're a cop saying somebody called and nobody called, you need to quit being a rude asshole and leave people alone. It's called public for a reason. I'm allowed to sit there and do absolutely nothing because it is public. Public means everybody's allowed there, no matter what. Stupid fucking. Alright, I want to go to the next soundbite before I go off on some other stupid tangent.
If someone ever says,
I would date you, but I'm not ready for a relationship right now.
then this could be a great way to respond and shift the situation in your favor.
Thank you for telling me. It's good you said it first because I didn't want to hurt you by saying it. You're not the type I usually date.
Or you can say,
Oh, that's a relief. I see you more like a close friend, almost like a brother or sister.
doing this helps you stand up for yourself when someone tries to manipulate. The best manipulators can confuse others and make them curious. When you do this, it confuses them. Now, they see you differently and might even start chasing after you. If someone
that is an interesting one, because it's like it comes down to
I like that viewpoint.
yeah, it comes down to the fact that that person didn't want to say a certain thing to the other person because they were too afraid to hurt their feelings, but they have to be wary of the fact that people around them are manipulators and will try to
Throw you under the bus.
throw you under the bus, or, you know, cause the situation to go into their favor because of whatever, you know, motivation they have that's hiding underneath.
Or trauma or bullshit they have in their background, yeah.
Yep, exactly. Which is funny because that situation is similar to what you dealt with years ago.
Yep.
Earth and the moon become double tidally locked, what effect can that have on tides? So, the moon is spiraling away from Earth at the rate of a few inches a year. One effect of that is that Earth is slowing down in our rotation. We have to put in leap seconds every now and then. You know what the moon is trying to do? It's trying to slow us down so that 1 day on Earth equals 1 month for the moon. When that happens, we will always show the same face to the moon. And when that happens, there will be no tides. No, tides will end. Well, moon tides will end. We'll still have sun tides, but the moon tides will end. Earth and the moon become double tidal.
Interesting.
Yeah, you know, Neil deGrasse Tyson ruins
So-
everybody's happiness. I just thought that shit was hilarious.
So the Earth is right here, and the Moon is somewhere over here, and every single year the planets are doing this and widening a little bit. And
Well, the moon is always leaving or moving away from the Earth. I think it's funny because eventually it will get so far away it'll be locked and, like he was saying, in permanent full moon all the time, no matter what. And I just have to laugh at that because if it's stuck in full moon or new moon all the time, then that means we will have more occasions of having eclipses, solar and lunar.
yeah,
And the tides will slow down and only be slightly wavy because of the sun tidal shift, not the lunar tidal shift, because the moon will be far enough away to not affect us. Of course, I also think when that happens is when the moon becomes red all the time, and then you have the prophecy of the moon always being blood red and Jesus coming back. Hey, look, we finally hit the end of this bitch. Hey, like I said, we ain't that far away. So
We're just like the moon just gravitates enough to where like it's like hanging on a thread of like the gravity of the Earth, and then like out of nowhere Jesus just takes everybody to the moon, and that becomes the new planet.
No. What'll happen is the sun will blow up. This will become a giant crystal, and everybody who was expecting it to be cool, and everybody who wasn't expecting it to be fuck. Then here next time.
Once he took that pill, the very first thing that he did was not get a loan and start investing all these stocks, start some business, get some job, start reading. He cleaned his house. His house was a pigsty, or his apartment, and he cleaned every single ounce of it to where it was orderly and it was in line. And clutter affects the human brain so much that many times, if you look how dirty a person's car is, or house is, or apartment is, it's probably a large indicator of how dirty or how messy or how unorganized their operation, their business, their job, their day-to-day, their personal life is also the same way. So have a clean space. This requires almost no training. Once he took that pill,
It's talking about the beginning of the movie Limitless.
Yeah, which
I love
is-
that movie.
Which isn't wrong either, because like if you look at how I try to keep my stuff, like I'm constantly having to web around and like go to the kids' room and go to
Yeah,
different
but see,
places and clean.
If you took like a whole week, like when you have your full vacation, a full week off,
Mm-hmm.
take it off, and no matter what anybody says, just do it when the kids are at school, like at the beginning of the year. Clean everything so that way it's perfectly organized. Because it was there for a little while, and then some stuff happened and it all blew up because the other entities weren't keeping it organized.
Yep.
You keep it clean for that week and tell them, alright, I have to go back to work, and if it's not clean, you can no longer blame me because I kept it clean. Now this all has to do with y'all keeping it organized, so that way we're not a giant cluster again.
Yeah.
They'll get pissed at you, but it will be the one or at least half a week of just so much organization that they're like, everything's so easy, everything's so simple. This is such a smooth transition. I like this. They might actually keep it.
I have no idea if they would, because
No, I think they will, because when it happened in the apartment, when it got so organized and it stayed that way for like 2 months, you were less stressed, everybody else was less stressed. Everything was just so smooth and iron tight with the schedule. It just flowed.
Yep.
I could just come over, we could work out, podcast, whatever, and it just...
Yep, it was smooth. And then
something happened and everything blew up.
dysfunction happened because a certain person that was involved, that the video was talking about mental space.
Yep.
The mental space. The mental space is crazy chaotic and there's no synergy, then your environment around you will turn into such.
Well, it's you lost the synergy in your brain, so your whole world looks like a giant clusterfuck now.
Yep.
That's like me, when I decide, when I'm like, okay, it looks like shit, time to organize, I organize it. I'm good for like months on end. But whenever I have my hiccups, because I know I have them, I'm like, okay, that happened. Alright, I'm going to take a week off and then I get back to it.
Yeah. And it's just like, that's kind of the thing though, is like I even talked to this certain other person about it weeks ago, and was like, we need to get back to the part where there's actual synergy, and there's like organization, and there's
Well, I
default
think
flow.
you, with this space, as soon as you do it here, like super organized,
Yeah.
everything will move smoother in the house. And as soon as Dad sees everything so smooth and so like instant, because you got to get everybody in on it, except for that one, because the lunacy in that brain, because it's been snapped in half and then put back together by who, I have no clue, but they did it wrong. But once it's all smooth and super organized, and like that organization that's so clean, it like makes everybody shit their pants.
Yeah.
Like, oh my god, this is great. Once it hits that point, it'll be so smooth and easier for everybody. The lunatic can't snap because there's no lunacy to snap about. And then it'll be like, I can't be pissed. Damn it, I'm going to my room. I'm going to go hide in my TV.
Yeah, which I feel like he does it anyway now, because a lot of times like
Well, it's that he sees the chaos. The problem is his brain wants the organization, his spirit wants the organization, but because his brain became broken, if he tries to organize it, his brain goes rage, destroy, kill, like off the rails. But if it's done and he walks into it, he has nothing to snap or do anything over, so he's like, it breaks him. So he has to sit down, shut up, be content with the organization. You know what I mean, how organized it is?
Yep.
And it makes it smooth for everybody else because there's nothing to break him. The next sound effect, before we get too deep into that.
Bitch slap the devil when you have success. That's what I got from that.
Close enough, I'll take it. Thank you, cooperate. Thank you.
No, of course not. Who told you there? Men and women are not equal. Men and men are not equal. Women and women are not equal. Individuals are not equal. How can collections of individuals be equal with collections of other individuals? It's illogical. It doesn't make any sense. Are you equal with your boss? If so, then why is he or she your boss instead of you? I'm not equal to another man who's stronger than me, who's smarter than me. There may be things that I cannot understand, and a woman is able to understand it instantly. Or maybe there's something that I can do that a woman cannot do. If we're all born equal, then how do you explain the infinite disparities between people's capacities? Every person, individual person, is tasked with what their God-given capacities are capable of, and no one is blamed or shamed or looked down upon for not being able to do what's beyond their capacity. And we're not judged on an equal basis, but we're judged according to our individual abilities, whether you're a man or a woman.
That is such an interesting, flawed mindset.
No, not flawed. It's insightful. Do you know why?
Because it's talking about hierarchy system. It's trying to talk about hierarchy system, but also about ability. Like the guy is so mixed up in between the two about hierarchy and ability. Like he's like, that person's more superior to that person because they have more ability.
It's not even more superior.
That's what he just said. Not equal.
Everybody is an individual because each person is different physically, mentally. We can all not say we are equal because nobody is the exact same as anybody else. Because if you were, you would not be an individual. And because you're an individual, you cannot expect everybody to be able to do the exact same thing you can do. Some people can do more, some people can do less. But nobody is the exact same as you, or you are no longer you, you're just another stupid robot.
So
you are not an individual, you're just another clone of...
I could see your perspective on that, but I disagree with it. And the reason why is because everyone is super varied. Like, if you're going to say that not everyone is equal because of that reason, then that means that you're creating discord in that sense. Because then, let's say you with your disabilities, right? With your with your disabilities, with your family's disorder, the medical disorder.
Yeah.
that would make you less equal than that dumb fuck down the street who's more physically capable, or even me, or somebody else. And I wouldn't agree with
But
that.
I say, you think you're more physically able, but I can actually prove how I'm more physically able because my disability actually gives me, like I've always talked to you about, the extra ability to not feel the pain and keep moving.
But my point is that somebody else would see you as being disabled, regardless of your perception of it, going off of that soundbite, and they would think they're more superior because of your disability. And I would say, no, they're not superior at all. You guys are both equal, despite the fact that you guys have your strengths or your
But see,
non-strengths.
everybody's strengths and weaknesses are different, so that's
Right.
why it's the thing of
Multivariate.
nobody's 100% equal with anybody else. There's always one thing that you can do better than the other person, or
Right.
worse than the other person. That's the equation of also the randomness of everybody and everything in the universe. The whole, and this is where I hate the world, but at the same time I can see it as a benefit if you know how to look at the viewpoint properly. It's nobody's the same. God didn't make any of us the exact same. And even if you don't believe in God, the randomness of being a person who doesn't believe that a higher entity created or controls the background,
Yeah.
so that way it all doesn't fall apart, then by that logic, everything's random. So randomly, only the numbers, because of the variation of the genetics,
Mm-hmm.
even if you have the same people, because if you think about it this way, there was always, if you go far enough back, an original two entities, the male and the female, that you go far enough back, it all goes back to the original mom and dad of everything.
But
So,
go ahead.
by that, everybody should be exactly the same. We should all look exactly the same. We should all be exactly the same because all of our origins, genetics, go back to the original two entities that by random chance made it and created the human race.
I would still
It's
say
the
that
atheist viewpoint that science can explain everything. Well, if you go far enough back, the original two that made the first human or bred and made us the entities we are now, then we
Mhm.
should all look the exact same. Everybody should be the same skin color, slight variations because of where your ancestors or you currently live. We should all be the same color brown. We should all have the same beard and or hair. There's no such thing as male pattern baldness. There's no such thing as having bad genetics because we all come from a perfect gene pool.
right. But regardless of that, somebody will. It has.
Oh, I know they have.
Come at your sister, for instance, just because her disability or her handicap isn't visible or apparent, or they've literally come at you and judged you for yours, and
I laugh at it.
right, and they're viewing their perception as being superior or not equal, and that's part of why they have that dysfunction, is because they are seeing their perception as if they can judge you for what you look like or what you sound like with your handicap. Same with your sister, and they think they can make the judgment call of whether or not she deserves the placard, or whether or not you guys deserve to have your social ability to have handicap parking or to have any other feature that's involved in any given situation, which is part of why I would disagree with the whole idea notion that not everyone is equal. It's like, yeah, there's the joke that some animals are more equal than others, but that's an Animal Farm joke. That's talking about a dystopian world where the pigs have all the power.
Okay, from that viewpoint, you can say nobody's equal because technically we're all animals. either we eat meat, we eat plants, or we eat both. So no matter where you come from, there's always going to be people who are, or animals who are stronger than others, but at the same time, in that same race, there are those few that are weaker physically, but stronger in other ways. That's where you get the leaders and the followers.
Right. But that's the thing, though, is that individuals are still equal. They're still, they should still be able to have equal rights. No person is more
I'm not
person
saying
than the
that.
other.
No. He's not saying anything about rights. It's everybody has the right to do what they want.
Right.
The only difference is your boss is your boss because he's been there longer. That's nothing to do with your ability or your quality. It's they've been there longer, so they've proven themselves to their boss. That's why they're your boss.
That's how I read
That's
it.
where
with,
the
his video.
They have a score of 10 because they've been there for 10 years. You have a score of 2 because you've been there for 2 years. That's why they're the boss and you're not. The score can equal the same, but one of the numbers somewhere in the equation is bigger. That's why they get the benefits you don't get. It has nothing to do with you're not the same. You are the same, but it's the time part of the equation, which is the fourth dimensional part of the where we live. It's the everything's the same except for your time, and your time is more or less than somebody else's. That's why they get more or less of a benefit or specialty. Just like me, I have 10 more years than you. Well, 10 to 9 more years than you. I think it's 9, or is it 8? It's between 8 and 9 with you. I know it's 10 for your wife, my sister. Right. But it's the thing of, I have a different viewpoint because of the years. When you get to where I am, your viewpoint might change.
May not.
But that's all perception. We'll see when you get there, because, like I said, I ain't dying until I'm 100, or Jesus comes back and translates me, or sends me straight to hell, and then I'm going to kick Satan in between the legs and go, bitch.
Yeah.
God's going to kill you in like 5 minutes. Alright, I'm taking over.
Right, but in the frame of context of the video that guy was talking about, he did use that as part of his argument for superiority versus inferiority, which that's just how it read off as.
That's how you saw it. That's not how I saw it. It's the equivalent of God made all the angels and entities and spirits and what makes you who you are. But yet Jesus is the most powerful because he was the first son. He got the most energy because he was made first. That doesn't mean he's better than you. That just means he has more power than you because he was the first and there was an infinite amount of energy to put into him. And
right.
After he was created, there wasn't as big amount of energy to put into the next entity, which is where you get Michael, Lucifer, Gabriel, and all the other archangels. But after he made the 10, I think it's 10 or 12 archangels, and he came to making us, we're not as powerful as them. That's why we're not archangels. We're just angels and or spirits.
Right, but
it's just a different level of energy. They're not. It's not anything to do with superior or less. It's the numbers are different.
You're making that argument, but the guy in the video did not.
That's the argument he made. But because it was short form, because I've seen it somewhere else where he went into longer form, but I forgot to save it. He goes into that, or I'm pretty sure I heard it somewhere else and it was longer form, and he goes a little bit deeper into the thing because that's what the other person thought also. It's not disavowing that we all equal the same number. We're all one entity, one stack of 1,000,000 cells. or million or billion atoms.
Yeah.
We all equivalent to the same number, but we each have different strengths and weaknesses.
Yeah, which is what makes us all
Unique,
and awesome.
and if we're not all unique, we are all equal, then we're all just fucking clone copies of the originals, and in that dynamic we should all be the exact same.
I would say that,
That's how my
and our
brain processes it.
unique qualities and our differences and the things that make us who we are actually makes us stronger than if it was a game of thrones. Just kidding.
Well, it's the thing of where are women more strong? The feminine energy. Where are the feminine, the actual women? They're strongest as mothers and wives. Where do the men excel? Going out and doing the job. Usually, not always, but on a lot of stuff, it's the heavy lifting, the stuff that requires more money. That's why our bodies are genetically made as males to retain more muscle, have denser bones, and not really be, well, in a way, be smarter as in the hunter-gatherer builders, not the smarter as in children. Well, it's smarter as the builders and the hunters, because the women are smarter at the children, nurturing, teaching, and gathering, because the females do better at gathering than the men most of the time. Not always.
Yeah.
Because you have the ADHD men who are better at gathering and
Them to multitask allows them to have some more abilities than people who don't have ADHD. But the problem with ADHD is that it's hard to have focus. It's hard to zero.
well, that's where the ADD part comes in. The hyperactivity makes it so that way you can do 10 things at once.
Mhm.
The issue is telling other people the 10 things you're doing while you're doing them, because as soon as you stop to tell them, you lose track of what you were doing, and then nothing gets done.
Yeah, because the focus is lost.
Well, it's the world we're at now. No. We all need to know exactly what you're doing. Would you shut up and just let me do it so that way it's done?
Yeah.
No, I want to know every step. Shut up and watch. And
Yep.
because we get poke, tell me, shut up, pay attention,
Mhm.
which is Dad's problem too. You've been here the whole time. Yeah, but I didn't see everything you did because your fat ass is in the way. I can't see all the damn steps you're taking, dumbass.
Yeah.
And it's the equivalency complaint. Well, you should know because you were there for everything. How the hell am I supposed to know what you consider common sense if I didn't see or know every step you took to do it? Which
Yeah.
means you're saying it's common sense from your point of view because it's knowledge you learned. But from my point of view, it's not knowledge I learned because you did not show or teach me. I was just supposed to learn by watching, where I learned as another person with ADHD with hands-on experience only. So
Yeah.
you see how stupid you are for telling me, and then this is my argument with a lot of people, that what you consider common sense isn't common sense because I did not live the same life as you, which shows there's no such thing as equality because my life's different than yours, so what you consider common sense, I don't. And if we don't remember to teach our children the same things we learned, common sense for them will be different than common sense for me, so we will think our children are stupid when the stupidity is as us as parents or other people as adults have not taught our children what we have learned growing up. So it's not common sense because they have not lived the same life we have lived. So it's not common for them because they have never been in the situation to learn the same thing we have. So common is an unequivocal equation that we try to equivalate or equalize.
I followed you for most of that.
But I mean, do you see my lunacy viewpoint though? It's like, that's common sense. No, it's not, because you never taught me that as common knowledge. So don't complain at me when my common sense says you're full of shit because I lived a different life.
Yeah.
That's my whole bitch with common sense. Just arguments and discussions too. It's like, it's not common sense for me. Like when dumbass, you know what I'm talking about, says, well, that's common sense. No, dipshit. I did not have to say, look at me, I'm big and badass, look at my big balls.
Yep.
Because I didn't go work construction because I was told to go F off because I have a disability.
Mm-hmm.
And I couldn't do certain things when I was younger.
Yep.
Because of my disability. So it's not common sense. I didn't live that life. You did. So why don't you get up off your ass and do it if it's so common and so simple?
Yep.
Next sound effect.
There's a beverage that has been found to have cancer-causing chemicals in it. And the shocking thing about this is that the company was sued in January of 2023, and you haven't heard about it anywhere. Something as significant as PA-based chemicals, forever chemicals that don't leave your body that last for years and years and years, that's why they live forever. A class action lawsuit because a lab test found these chemicals in this beverage, and many hundreds of times the maximum upper recommendation of the FDA. Being sued, and you didn't hear. So Coca-Cola Company makes something called Simply Orange. It's an orange juice that is nationwide. Most children drink this stuff. And the potential of cancer-causing chemicals being consumed has been going on for months, and we haven't heard. So do your work, continue to research, continue to learn. Not everything comes from the news.
Just a quick thought about fuck Coca-Cola. They're trying to give us cancer and kill us. No shit, because they still use coca leaves,
Yeah.
to season Coca-Cola. They're literally drugging us to get us addicted to their drink.
I want to thank those few friends that make me laugh every day and distract me from what's going on in my head. Y'all deserve the world.
I just thought that one was a nice one. So.
Yeah, no, it's a nice one, especially since like you get done with a rough day at work, or you get done with your trials throughout the day, and it's always nice to know
Before
this-
your day starts, yeah.
Yeah, it's always nice to kind of let loose a little steam and just kind of remember who's in your corner, because oftentimes when you're dealing with the trials, you can easily lose sight of that exact factoid. And then you don't have fun.
I think we've become that for each other as friends and brothers. It's the, okay, we're going to shoot the shit, laugh our asses off about something completely stupid that has nothing to do with our lives, and enjoy lifting heavy fucking weights.
Pretty much.
Humble enough to know I can lose it all, but confident enough to know I can get it all back.
You want to play that one again?
Yeah, go ahead.
I think that one needs to be played against the people.
Humble enough to know I can lose it all, but confident enough to know I can get it all back.
Yep. To basically not have the illusions that you're not going to lose it all if you make a wrong move, but being humble enough to know that you can lose it all, but
And
also,
confident.
but confident enough to know that you can rebuild up and rebuild from scratch.
Oh, I lost everything. Okay, time to restart.
Yep. Time to rebuild.
Wait. You're not like horribly wounded because you lost everything and everything burnt around you? No, I was just enjoying the fire while I was staying warm.
Time to get it all back now.
Well, I mean, that's why you always love. That's why you like my lunacy, because it's like the whole world's burning down around you. I know, isn't it pretty fun?
Yep.
And then when anybody else hears that, who's not you, who hang out with me on a regular, they're like, "What the fuck is wrong with him?"
Yep.
And you're like, the confidence, pride, and arrogance of that man. Just watch the show; it's fun.
Yeah. Exactly.
But I know that's who I am.
Yeah.
So.
Always remember this. Grapes must be crushed to make wine. Diamonds form under pressure. Olives are pressed to release oil. Seeds grow in darkness. So whenever you feel crushed under pressure, pressed, or in darkness, you are in a powerful place of transformation.
Yep. That's
I like that one.
it's one of the phrasings that often gets said is a diamond in the rough. You know, something that's formed
before
under
they
pressure.
take off all the rock and look at me pretty.
Yep. And then remembering that your unique struggles and your unique successes validate your very existence of struggle.
Yes, always.
You know what the saddest fucking shit is? The people that are the most broken and the saddest are the ones that would do absolutely anything for anyone else. Because they know the pain. They know what it feels like. And they don't want anyone else to have to go through that. But in doing so, they break even more. Because nobody ever does that for them.
Yep. No, it's the idea that that if you're someone who has had to lose it all, or someone that has had to rebuild, or someone that's had to go through a lot of struggles, you'll see somebody else going through some shit, and the first thing you want to do is go in and try to help them deal with it and help them pick themselves up, versus somebody who's never had to deal with a lot of it, or someone who's, you know, happily, ignorantly looking at somebody and being like, oh, that's so sad that and so pitiful that you and I pity you, or I feel bad for you for having to deal with all that. It's like, well then, are you gonna help me? It's like, why would I do that? Why would I want to help you? And then, you know, they kind of
Fuck you, I have my own bullshit. It's
right,
like,
exactly,
no, you're supposed to help everybody with their shit.
right, exactly. And then,
Especially if you. The thing I like about that is, even if it breaks me and kills me for the second time,
mhm.
I'm gonna help you through your shit so you don't have to deal with the bullshit I went through.
Exactly. And that was something that, like, for instance, I was, you know, someone that inhabit someone who has had giant sum of money in one place, and something out of nowhere, people around me were like, oh shit, I'm dealing with this struggle, I'm dealing with this struggle, I'm dealing with this struggle. And really gone out and been like, okay, let's go take care of it, let's go get it done, or whatever. And and then there were people around me who were like, wait, you went and did that? Like, but then you don't have the money, or you don't have this stuff. I'm like, oh, I made sure that I was able to get it taken care of while not losing it all. But even then, even if like I don't have everything all in one place and am able to just quickly bounce back and recover, I end up helping the person anyway, because I know what it's like to be the person who wishes upon everything that somebody was willing to help bail me out or help me out with something. Like, for instance, when him and I were going to the gym one day, and did I really have the money? No, not really. But he was like, oh, I'm fucking broke. And I'm like, okay, we'll go turn this $20 bill into a $100 bill. And he went off and did it. He went off and turned it into money. And I went and also helped out Hallett with his cell phone. And then when he got money, he was able to pay you back. But it's the idea that of being able to just do that, being able to help people out when they're struggling.
I like men I'm gonna do that too.
Yeah.
No, my issue is always with the money end of it. It's like, well, I can't help with money, but I can help with, here's an ideal, or here's something that might help you deal with the current issue you have to move beyond it.
Yeah.
And I know, because we've talked about it, I've done that to you a couple times. You're like, I don't see the outcome. This is going to be the outcome either way. Here's how maybe it'll make it easier for you to move through the bullshit.
Yeah, and there was a couple of people that I knew on Twitter, actually. One of them was dealing with a lot of hardship, and I think it was a couple of years back, that person was going to be homeless on the streets. I wasn't able to bail him out of being on the streets, but I did at least be able to get to where he could at least have a room, or at least have a hotel room. And so he was able to at least have a hotel room for a couple of days and be reminded what it's like to have somebody out there who actually gives a shit, even if you don't know the person in person, or you hardly, like, the only reason why you know each other is Twitter. And the reason why you know each other is the fact that you've been in spaces together and you've shared work with each other and kind of became, you know,
Friends.
writer buddies, yeah, and friends. And so it's just kind of a nice reminder that not everyone's gonna leave you on your ass when you're homeless and shit. And I think that person's always gonna remember that, because they frequently reach out to me and check on me to make sure that I'm doing okay, because they remember the fact that I didn't have to help them, and yet I was the only one who did. Like, fuck, Angel with the writer circle, she didn't fucking help me. I even, like, tried to, the only thing she really did was hold the space, which she was gonna hold the space anyway, but hold the space, and then when the person came in and shared their work and stuff, she had money to contribute. She had money to help him. She even told me she did, and yet she didn't. She didn't bother. Like I asked him. I was like, "Did you receive anything else other than what I sent you?" And then the person's like, "Well, how much did you send me?" And I'm like, "Well, this amount." And because it was via Cash App. And they're like, "Oh, well, that's the only amount I received." And I'm like, "Oh, so I'm the one who helped you?" And they're like, "Yeah." And I'm like, "That's fucked up. I thought that everybody was gonna help at one point." But anyway.
Yeah. Horrible when that happens.
Don't sink because of the water around them. Ships sink because of the water that gets in them. Don't let what's happening around you get inside you and bring you down.
I like that.
Yeah.
There's nothing more dangerous than a man with this mindset. Giving up will make me weak. I will win no matter the problems. The only person who can beat me is me. Depression is the mindset of the weak. When I fall, I always get back up. I will fail until I win.
Yeah. I mean, fuck, dude. Like, when you're depressed, you're put in a place where you're mentally and emotionally at a low, an extreme low. I wouldn't say lowest because that's a textbook thing to say. Because people will have their lowest
Depends on
and
the
then they'll
level of depression.
people will have a lowest and then they'll realize that they can go even lower. So it's like
Yeah.
it's just a series of extreme lows, and like you are
I've never
the only
hit
person
my
who can defeat yourself.
bottom yet. I've gotten close. I've seen the bottom. I've never let myself go there.
Yeah,
It's when I see myself going in that direction, or when I should say, used to see myself going in that direction, I realized that's what I was doing, and I'm like, okay, that means I have to up the gym, up this, up that, and tell everybody if they don't like it, they can kiss my ass and go fuck themselves.
yeah, yeah.
It's rude the way it comes out of me saying that sort of stuff, but I mean, it comes from love. I love you, but if you can't give two shits that I'm trying to improve myself in any way, whether you agree with the way I'm doing it or not, okay,
yeah.
there's the door.
Yeah, well, it also comes down to self-love too, right?
Oh yeah.
Because like if
If you can't love yourself, then no matter how much you love from it, you can get, no matter how much love you receive or is given to you from somebody else, you will never be able to accept it because you don't have the capacity to fill up your own love meter.
yeah, and there's a difference between self-love and
External love.
external love, but also a difference between that and being full of yourself. So
Oh,
if you're respecting yourself and you're loving yourself enough to keep yourself in a position where you're able to take care of yourself, where you're able to take care of those you care about, but also not sacrificing your respect for yourself by involving yourself with destructive people who are they don't even care that their self-sabotage is affecting you. They don't care that their self-hate is causing you to get down lower. If you respect yourself enough and love yourself enough to interact with those that help bring you up, and then you help the people that are, because if you just simply say fuck you and then go away from the person that's hurting themselves or hurting you without trying to help them first, then in a way it is kind of an asshole move. But you're allowed to do that. But like, if you are at least telling them, hey, you're fucking this up, how, can I help you deal with it? And that person just doesn't want to listen, doesn't want to bother with anything, and just wants to keep sabotaging, then
They won't take accountability that they're sabotaging themselves. So you're like, hey, you're doing this, right?
right. And so you at some point you have to take a break from it or say, hey, I love you and everything,
But I gotta walk away.
but you're sabotaging yourself. It's affecting me. I'm trying to recover from my own sabotage. I need to walk away right now. And then if you decide to return to that person and check in with them and say, hey, how are you doing? How are things going? And if they're still on that road, it's like, at some point, something's got to give, and you have to be able to respect yourself. So,
Yep.
it makes sense with the video.
Abs are made in the kitchen. Bullshit. All physique is made in the kitchen. Think about it. If you put the wrong way of fuel in a sports car, it's not going to function at its best performance. The same goes for our bodies. When our bodies handle the gym, and how do you expect to see progress in
comes down to diet. It comes down to your routine and like how you're able to improve the self-love approval of like recovery when it comes to taking care of yourself.
The part I liked about it was, it's like putting, and this is my viewpoint because of the cars I've owned. Most of my cars, it's 87 and up on the octane.
Yeah.
It's like putting 85 in a car that's supposed to take 87 plus. What's the first thing to go out? Fuel pump. Or like any of those things, because the octane's so low, it's got to work so hard to keep moving.
Yeah.
That it's quite literally killing itself.
Yeah. And me and the wife always work on putting in the higher gasoline thing so we can avoid having that happen to our car.
That's why I like at Maverick. Currently.
You're having a me moment.
When they came out with the ethanol free, Mom had made a comment that she tried it and she got like an extra like 50 to 100 miles out of the car.
Yeah.
And she's got an Ultima, which is basically a slight upgrade, bigger gas tank than my Sentra. That's Nissan if you don't know. And since that point, it's cost me a little bit more money for the gas. God, my car runs so smooth. Alright, next one.
What you focus on, you're going to do Plaza Fitness first. It's the mental muscle. Just going every day, even if the workouts are shit, because you accidentally have good workouts when you go every day. And if you tell yourself, I'm just going to go in there and fuck off a little bit, you might accidentally catch a pump and then really kill it. And you'll find that if you can get from zero using the shitty workouts to a pump, and then from the pump to progress, what I call positive momentum, then you want to go to the gym because you're just fucking jacked. What you focus on.
Yep.
Because we've noticed that. I mean, I noticed it especially because it's one thing you've said about me. Because when I was constantly going to the gym, and I really didn't even realize it, but even on my lazy days of workout, which is basically just swimming, because the pool was a little bit deeper at the other gym and longer, but I mean, I can still get the same thing at the current gym. The thing is, you'd made a comment that my shoulders were so big, you were like, how the fuck? I didn't even realize it until a few months back, but thinking about it, it's like 6 months ago, my brain went, oh yeah, it's because I swim even when I'm having a shitty day.
Yep.
Gotta get that bullshit pumped.
Remember this next time you are in a tough situation. Life isn't challenging you because you're weak. It's challenging you to show you just how strong you truly are.
That checks. I mean, that's, it's
Reality.
Yep. It's also a mindset thing too, because like you can either see it as a collective chaos of events where you're just constantly getting beat up, or you could see it as like you're going through a trial and you're going to come out of it alive, and it's the survivor mentality, the warrior mentality.
The way I see it, yes, the survivor and the warrior mentality, but it's not the trial or tribulation like most people like to put it.
Yeah.
I see it as, oh, they're sending me this so that way I can become stronger because I can handle it. I've just never dealt with this situation, so I have to prove to myself and the higher entities that I'm as badass as they think I am, and possibly more badass. Alright, let's do this.
Boys back in the Midwest. Governments, federal, state, and local, were only taking about 15 cents out of every dollar earned. Today, they're taking almost half of every dollar earned in the United States. Most people don't realize it because the taxes are hidden in the so-called business taxes. You know, the politician stands up and yells, oh, let's save the little man, let's tax business, and everybody else are right. They haven't figured out that every tax on business is just a part of the cost of production. And the customer winds up paying it when he buys the product. It's a hidden sales tax. There's 116 of them. The sooner close the bunch when it's higher.
Yep, it's our way of trying to find a way to make a bullshit extra income.
Well, let's see, what was one of the little, like, sound bites or things I heard? Oh, yeah. No. How do they fuck you? you're paying 10 taxes every time you get paid because they get taxed before they give you the money. So which means you're only getting half of what you actually made as an employee. 1. 2, you're getting taxed. 3, you're getting taxed when you buy stuff with the money that has already been taxed. 4, you're getting taxed again because not only is it you had to buy it, but they're also taxing you on the gas you had to spend, you had to buy to get to work and or the store or whatever shop to pay for the service, product, food, whatever you need to live.
Yep.
You get taxed 4 to 5 ways before you even get the basic necessities to live.
Yep.
Like I always say, this message isn't for everybody. Some of you are so weak. Just being in your very presence can make a man go impotent. I put a video up, 10-second video, and you all got so much to say about it. My balance is fucked up. This and that. Is this the message you really want to put out there, guys? Fuck yeah, that's the fucking message I want to put out there. That's what effort fucking looks like. I think I always had you. Some motherfucking ice cream pie. Stay hard.
David Goggins. No. That's why I told you to get his book
Yeah.
on Audible. Because he's intense. He's me intense, but from a different, struggle.
Yeah.
His intensity with some of the physical stuff he's had to deal with, that he tells stories about, that's in his 2 books he's dropped. And my brain instantly goes, oh, I know that struggle, but I didn't, well, the way it happened for me was different, but I know the exact same struggle.
Yeah.
I know why the hell would you run a 100-mile marathon and see if you can do it and be the best, or just do it just to show how hard-ass you are, when in one of them somebody said, well, it was each person ran their allotted, you run, and it's supposed to be a group for the first 100 he did,
Yeah.
and let's see how fast we can do it as a group.
Yeah.
This motherfucker just did it all by his damn self. And my first thought is, that sounds like some bullshit I do. The hell you doing? Walking freaking 3 miles. I wanted to see if I could do it. Could you? No. It hurt like a motherfucker. My legs were out for 2 days afterwards.
Yeah.
But his stories with some of the 100 miles and other stuff he's done, he was in so much pain. And as soon as he got done, as soon as he got back to the hotel, he literally took his stuff off and just blew shit everywhere. Piss and blood, and just completely screwed himself.
Wow.
Took him like a week to recover, sort of thing. But it's but I can do it, and I'm not dead.
Yeah.
That's my mentality. Did I die? No. Did it hurt like a motherfucker? You damn straight. Am I gonna do it again? Oh yeah. Twice as hard. Let's go. I mean, you've seen me. I have the same mentality. Did I die? Nope. Did it hurt like a motherfucker? Hell yeah. What are you gonna do next time? You gonna do it twice as hard. Why? It feels good to hurt. Because you know me, it's the whole mentality. And this is why I like Goggins. It's the thing of, it hurt. And because it hurt, that proved I'm alive.
Yeah.
Which means, I gotta have more. And if I don't have more, I'm not alive.
I don't believe that you can feel any other emotion than hate. I'm loving you right now. It doesn't feel like that. Feelings are real. Feelings are a reaction to a perceived world. It's not a big deal. I don't believe it.
Okay. For anybody who didn't hear that, he said the kid asks him if he's ever felt love, because all he feels is hate. And the grandfather or dad's telling him, well, I'm loving you right now. He's like, well, I don't feel that, the kid. And he's like, well, feelings are a perception. It's a perception of what you're receiving of an unhealed wound. Basically, he's telling him that because you're still hurting from something that happened that I did or somebody else did, and you haven't healed from it, you perceive me showing you love as me throwing salt in your wound or hitting you or causing another wound. When I haven't caused any wound, it's your perception. Your feelings are not real. They're your perception from what you are, perception from what you are feeling from an unhealed wound. Which I actually like that, because I've heard that one before and we shared it on here before, but when I heard this one that went a little bit deeper into it,
Yeah.
I was like, oh, I gotta definitely play that, because it goes into the, what you feel is bullshit. That's just your perception because it's touching an unhealed scar.
Yeah.
Essentially. It's like, and I mean, if that doesn't describe like cooking, ow, I hate cooking, ow, ow, ow. Why are you saying ow? Because I'm trying to cut this thing, or I'm trying to do this thing and it hurts. Well, why are you touching the thing or breaking apart the meat with your bare hands? That's why you're supposed to use a tool. Why are you hurting yourself on purpose? I'm not hurting myself, I'm doing what I was taught.
Yeah.
Clearly you didn't pay attention to something. You're hurting yourself for no reason.
Mm-hmm.
She came up to me super serious after a 1 hour talk I did in front of a few thousand people. She came up to me and she goes, do you know, young, there are 4,000 people in this audience. You spoke for an hour. You took 4,000 hours of human life today. You did great. Many don't. And I'll never forget that. It was so intense that you didn't even smile when you said it. I was like, I don't know how to feel about this. Greg, did I do okay? I was so moved by that. It's because she was saying to me there, I don't know if she was, but this is how I took it, is respect people's time. Be well rehearsed. Be clear and concise. Otherwise, I'm awful. She came up.
I like that last part because it's one of the sound effects from one of the guys known from The Office. Like one of the main characters. And I like I'll waffle.
Yep.
And I'm like, waffle? And then it went straight to the sound effect. I'm like, oh, that's your thought behind it. Yep. Okay, I like that.
First of all, I'm not a misogynist, because a misogynist is someone that puts down women. I exalt women to their rightful role. Women are supposed to be women, not men. And every time somebody says that a woman is equal to a man and does what a man could do, and you're actually abusing and denigrating women. Women have a unique purpose, and they're special. They're fearfully, wonderfully made by God. I support women. So I'm not a misogynist. I don't put down, you're putting down women by saying women can be men. You're putting down women by saying transgenders can be women. No, they can never be women. Women are special, and no man can just convert and say I'm a woman today. You're putting down women by saying that. So you're actually anti-women. I'm pro-women. I'm pro-mothers. I'm pro-wives, and I'm pro-women.
The one time
I remember the comment you made to that. It's like, wow. He basically lambasted her. All she could say is, but I am pro-woman. I love women.
Yep. The only time she could really talk was at the end when she basically starts saying what she actually thinks versus what somebody fed her. And it's interesting his point of view on it.
Well, I thought it was like profound because, you know, the whole Andrew Tate, well, you're a misogynist. Why? I love women. Women are special. Women are unique. Women as mothers and wives are beautiful creatures. And everybody likes to shit on her. I'm like, do I even listen to what the fuck he said? And when I heard this, and y'all can burn me at the stake, I don't care. It's a black man saying it to a white woman, so go fuck yourself. Well, no, because it's always the white man or the man against women. It's y'all are literally wanting the trans men pretending to be women to take over all the women shit, and go ahead and do it. Y'all fucking stupid. If they want to actually say they're female, give them their own bathrooms, their own bullshit, their own sports, so that way they can fight with the other men who are not good enough to be men.
I don't exactly
concede half a point.
Yeah, because I don't exactly agree entirely with the transgender commentary, mostly because I stand for trans rights.
90% of the
I could see
the
where
ideology of where people are bitching about the trans. It's not transsexual. It's transgender. It is the transgenderism of the man pretending to be a woman, who don't actually have, or have not fully transitioned into being a female. And all the people that are detransitioning complained about getting their dick cut off and their balls cut off, or the females who have complained about getting their tits cut off. It's the detransitioners who complain and bitch about it more, that they shouldn't have let somebody else talk them into and actually been with the real psychiatrist who helps you work out your issues, not just say, yes, you're right, here, take pills, okay, we'll sign you up for surgery and cut off all your shit.
I just think that part there is that the trans people are more concerned with being safe and not being threatened, whereas the people that are trying to stand up for trans rights
the women
are the
wanting
ones that are
to be,
defensive.
who feel weak as women and want to transition to be men, like Nico.
Right.
I have nothing against that.
Mm-hmm.
It's the men pretending to be women who, because they were born men and went through puberty as men, but once they became an adult, decided to say, no, I'm a female, with all the years of training as a male, and still basically not being able to do anything except for being a half-ass male at the sport.
Mm-hmm.
You're not actually being a woman. Like, the biggest one is the guy swimmer having his dick and balls out at 6 foot something in a women's locker room.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, they should have never thrown him into the women's locker room. You're transitioning. Your transition's not done. You don't have a hole and have to stick a dildo or whatever the hell it is in your pretend pussy every day for like however many years or whatever it is to keep it open so you can be railed like a woman you want to be. Go away. It's the stupidity of that part. I have nothing against, but I mean, it also goes to the thing, the woman who basically looked and sounded like a man anyways, that did basically pretend to be a man for 6 months, 3 months after saying how shitty it was and writing a book about it, decided to off themselves because how shitty they were treated by every other woman ever for pretending to be a man. I mean, it's the stupidity of wanting to be treated like shit because you think you'll be treated more equally when you actually are treated better as a female. My brain just goes, whoa.
So you're
I mean, if you
want
to and pretend you have a dick and put a strap-on on, I hope you know that still doesn't make you a man.
So what you're telling me is that your beef is more to do with the fact that you're confused why they would want to become a man because of the way men are treated in our society.
And not just that. That's part of it. The other part is you're letting men pretend to be women and completely because it's happened. You're letting rapists say I'm a girl and rape and molest women in public bathrooms. There's been a few cases of it, and in jail knocking up a few women by being put in the female prison. It's the you're literally fighting for the right for somebody to rape, molest, or completely make you look like a weak, worthless, good-for-nothing female who's not actually a female. Are you sure you want to fight for that?
I'm hoping
because it's
that
the feminist viewpoint to fight for it, but it's like, no. We give them their own shit because they're mentally disabled or they have their own issues.
I'd say that hopefully the people who are transitioning or people who are wanting to transition are not rapists or someone that's going to.
But there
do
have
such
been a
horrific
few
thing.
cases where that's happened.
Understand.
That's why it's the whole thing that no, you don't get to go in the female bathroom until your dick and balls are cut off. No, you can't go to a female prison because you still have dick and balls.
Right, which are checked.
You know, it's the checks and balances. Nobody's doing the checks, but everybody's like, but balances. There are no balances because there's been no checks. You're literally just skipping step 1 and going instantly to step 3.
So your viewpoint is that you want them to only be able to do those things and participate if they have fully transitioned.
For the female bathrooms, not for the female sport, because men from birth, because the way our genetic code is made, we have bigger muscles, denser bones, so we can do stuff in a sport better than a female. So they need their own sport for transition females to fight against other females or males.
It's a
Or
fair
have
point.
their own sports, that way it's trans females versus trans females, not trans females versus born and grown up females.
It's a fair point because there was that one case where that one dude posed as claimed he was female, transitioning and is transgender, just so he could make a point by going to the Olympics and then winning the sport, despite not being full.
It wasn't Olympics. It was at a local weightlifting competition because another man did it without having transition. So he's like, oh, if you can do it, I'm going to do it. And it was his trainer, or it was a male trainer who was training female weightlifters. Oh, if you're going to do that, then I'm going to beat your record and make you look like a bitch and show everybody how stupid you are, that you're literally cheating. No, we don't celebrate cheaters. And he did it, and he said, yeah, see, dumbasses? The guy literally went there, full beard and everything. The trainer did it on purpose to show the stupidity of giving the fake trans woman
of the cultural rules.
No, of the bullshit that's currently happening.
Yeah, the social contract between humans on what should be allowed and what shouldn't be allowed as far as transgender part of the
Not even
culture.
transgender. You're cheating because you're cheating.
Right.
You want to win, so I'm a man. I'm going to pretend to be a girl to win. It's like a cheater is a fucking cheater. They're literally cheating. Can we stop and say, no, you can't do that. You're a cheater. No, the fake feminists are jumping up and down and screaming, all this stuff.
So maybe as a populace in a society, we should really reanalyze and reexamine what exactly...
The whole situation.
Not only the whole situation, but also the actual gauging of what transphobic really means and how you end up doing it.
But see, we're not phobic. That's where my whole issue is too. Let's see, the people screaming transphobic and what's the other one? Where they're basically calling us evil. But yet, the LGBTQ plus community literally calls, they want everybody to be accepted for who they are and their sexuality and all that stuff. But yet you literally throw fires, middle fingers, pitchforks, anything you can at the straight, white, male, or just straight males and straight females. You literally yell, scream at all of us that we're the evil ones. But yet, your line is, we want equality for everybody like the feminists. It's like, if you want equality for everybody, then shut up, leave me alone, let me live my life. Quit calling me Satan incarnate when you're literally trying to depopulate the world by only fucking yourself. No, literally.
Yeah.
You're literally decided, I want to fuck somebody who looks just like me. For the gay men, I want to put my dick in the ass of another man who looks just like me, who looks fabulous, butt naked, and works out all the time. And for the female, I don't want to get pregnant and ruin my sexy body, so I'm going to screw another chick who's skinny or bigger than me, who looks more like a man than I do, because I'm tired of being dicked by men, or because she was molested and or raped by a man who should have been thrown in jail and or killed and had his dick and balls cut off.
Interesting. Well, you heard it here, folks.
Hey, it's the one thing that's like Jordan Peterson. He's getting yelled at for not following the rule, even though he never didn't follow the rule. He never went against the rule. He was never asked or told or instructed that somebody else wanted to become called something else than a sir or a ma'am. Nobody ever came to him, nobody ever made a bitch, but yet they threw him under the bus and then tried to throw him into a fucking bonfire to murder his ass for something that somebody claimed, but yet they never informed him that they wanted to be called something else.
Yeah.
You're bitching at me because I said this shouldn't be a law because it goes against free speech.
Yeah.
Which also goes into the thing that currently happened. I think one of these might be that. Let's find out. We got 3 more.
Master the art of reading people. 1. If someone zones out and you suddenly ask what they're thinking, observe their hands. If they fidget or move them, it might mean they are being untruthful. 2. In a group, notice who everyone looks at when they laugh. It reveals the person they are most interested in. 3. According to psychology, if someone places their phone face down while sitting across from you, they might be hiding something. 4. Excessive blinking around you could be a sign of someone trying to manipulate you. Master the art.
Just a thought, boy.
Some
I figured-
interesting factoids in there.
Yeah. I mean, I don't 100% agree with it because
Some people
some
are very
people
different.
like me who have what I have or have similar disabilities, we fidget. And because I can't stand still, I fidget. And cops are like, why are you moving? Because I can't stand still. I'm handicapped. This is my disability. Why don't you do some research before you're like, are you nervous? Are you scared? Do you want to do something? Are you going to try to kill me? It's like, dude, I fidget because I have bad blood flow in my hands and feet. Stop being a paranoid little psychopath. Ask me the question, why are you fidgeting? Because I have to.
Yeah, fidgeting can also be a sign
Of ADHD too.
of ADHD, of
Which
you know,
I also have.
something
so.
that's completely different than anxiety or fear. Usually, especially if like the person decides to hide their hand in their pocket, that could be an indication that the temperature in the hand is dropped and that they are feeling that intense fear. But really, it just depends
It
on the
could be any of
baseline.
100 things.
But I'm saying that there has to be a baseline.
It's like
of
this
comfort.
thing.
Right.
Why did you feel drunk? I'm cold.
Yeah, it could be a
Just
temperature
ask.
drop. It could be a temperature drp. It could be defensiveness. We don't know unless you have a baseline. Everyone's tells
or
a
you
different.
at least ask the person if they're like, I have no idea why I did that. And that means they did it defensively because of a previous situation that they have seen, or that is actually they have seen, perceived, or that has actually happened to them where they think they need to defend themselves because of the way your voice changed because you were happy or excited about what you were saying, but they perceived happy or excited as you might be getting mad because you got loud.
Yep.
I've seen that 100,000 times.
Yeah, people in general have all sorts of different tells, and
for most of the population, certain tells are common. For other people, they're not because they never learned that as a tell because of who they lived around and the situation they lived in.
the baseline is different for everybody. And
Oh,
so if you want to copy and paste tells on everybody, then you're probably going to misread somebody, and you're probably going to get the interaction very wrong.
Oh yeah. That was my only complaint about the Lie to Me TV show.
Yes.
I agreed, and I enjoyed watching the I think I've watched the first two seasons of it.
They made a point to say that it's the baseline. You have to have a
Yeah.
baseline.
No. That's what I liked about it, but some of the stuff, and then somebody did something, and then he's like, no. Well, you're not paying attention to the rest of their cues, but there were other cues. Oh, so you just saw that because that's what you wanted to see. I like that the main guy said that.
Tell lightning, yep.
Oh yeah, and I was like, yes. Somebody pointed out, you read it all wrong. You realize you're an idiot. Here's one.
Yep.
I like that character's like, you're a dumbass. Here's one.
Yeah.
No offense, but
Because the character Cal
he's so observant.
Yeah, no,
I loved it.
He would see stuff that somebody would be like, how the hell did you see that? Like, you're not even looking up there. And it's like, he doesn't have to. Like, he could see it regardless.
The 360
Yeah.
point of view without actually having to have a 360 vision.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, I love that. Because when I do that sort of stuff, how the hell I felt it? How do you feel me behind you? How do you not feel that sort of stuff?
Yep.
And I love it when you're like, I'm starting to feel that. Like you've gone over in the last couple podcasts. It's like, I've started to notice this whole, like, extra dimension I never realized was there before. And I'm like, he's moving up.
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
Exactly.
There's only one rule you have to follow. Hurt me with the truth, but never comfort me with a lie.
It's an interesting point of view there, because it's like, people think that truth is so great until they deal with it. Until they have to cope with it.
I find that as, no offense, the best way to live your entire life. It doesn't matter if you hurt their feelings. It's better to be 100% honest 100% of the time. And that's why I never mind any. I mean, I've told you, and I think I've brought it up a couple times on here. I don't mind being called an asshole. I'm called an asshole because I'm 100% honest 100% of the time. Does that offend me? Not one bit. Why? Because that's exactly who I am. I've learned in my life, through my interactions and the way I've done everything in my life, that being perceived as the biggest asshole in the room when you're being 100% honest from your point of view actually keeps you out of more trouble than it gets you into.
Yeah. Got my eyes really bothering.
No, you're good, homie.
Never argue with someone who believes their own lies. Never argue with someone who believes their own lies.
Yeah, it's hard to argue with somebody who believes their own lies, because, like, if they believe their own lies, and if they have worked their hardest to believe their own lies, not only will they come off as, like they're telling the truth, even though that they're a pathological liar,
Yep.
their tells will be hard to read, and you'll have to really get a really good baseline, because otherwise you could end up running into a situation where people around you start unintentionally gaslighting you, or making you think that, you know, that you're wrong when you're right, or accurate, and that person that's arguing with you is continuously lying, and even though it's super obvious to you that they're lying, it's not obvious to everybody else.
Or even to themselves. That's why I like that one, because don't argue with somebody who believes their own lies, because as soon as you tell them the actual truth, and they're like, that's your point of view, that's not what actually happened. That's exactly what you did. That's not what I saw me do. It's like, you did this with this inflection, which means this. Well, that's your point of view. Okay. With that inflection, with that tone of voice, what did you think you were saying, and how did you think you were portraying it? Because I love doing that to people, because they're like, well, I'm not going to, and they walk off all pissed and angry. It's like, which means on the inside, in your subconscious, in your true self, your true acknowledgement of who you are, your trueness, you know you're full of shit.
You know, there's a person we both know that is like that.
I know a few people like that.
Yep.
I'm actually dealing with 3 of them in my life.
Yep.
Although I think one of them knows they're a lying piece of shit, they just won't admit it and still walk around like everybody's offending them. How can we offend you when you know you're the biggest asshole out of everybody and you're lying to everybody about everything, including yourself, and you know you're lying to yourself, just so you don't look like the biggest douchebag in the room.
Yep.
Okay, yeah, I'll just let you live in your own
Delusions.
toilet. No, they're living in their own toilet because they're literally shitting in their own water, swimming and drinking it. So it's like, yeah, go ahead, poison yourself. I'm just gonna watch you be a dumbass. I'm just tired of arguing with the other idiot who doesn't see it that I've told.
Yeah.
It's like,
yeah. No, I find it funny that sound exists because it's like there's a certain someone that you know I'm talking about who, even if I tell them, hey, you know, this might be a subconscious thing, or even if I tell them, you know, things about
hey,
their tells or
you know this and this about yourself, right? I don't do that.
yeah,
I don't do that. Depending on which idiot we're talking about.
yeah.
I mean, you probably get it from both of them, but
there's like some unintentional gaslighting there. I'll sit
of
and point it-
themselves.
Yeah, I'll sit there and I'll point it out, and they get defensive, and they get and they get kind of shitty about it, and kind of makes me go, okay, well, why am I around this right now? Because you know they're just gonna sabotage, or they're gonna
gaslight themselves forever.
Yep.
Oh yeah.
And then end up trying to gaslight me in a result, because when you gaslight somebody, you're basically telling them that something's not happening when it really is. And then suddenly
I'm
you're
not
in
the
a
asshole.
situation.
I'm not the issue that caused this situation. Hello?
Yep.
Are you even aware that you live in this bubble? Hello?
Right. Exactly.
And it's funny, because I know the person you're talking about, and the person I told they were acting like the person you're talking about. You calling me You realize what you're saying sounds just like the asshole I said you were acting like, right? You literally just proved yourself wrong and a complete idiot by saying the exact same crap they say, right? Okay, yeah, have your stumble over your own stupidity while you walk away from me because you know I'm right.
Yep.
Because I've done that to them too. In front of the other person. Yeah, go ahead. Because for me, it's like, that's not who I am. And then when I explain or show the 100% honest facts, they're like, blah, blah. That's what they do too. Stop off. They do that one also.
Or it's like, oh, it's just because of this reason, or it's just because of this, or this is what's happening.
You hate that person because they're exactly like you. You know that's subconscious, right? You know psychiatrists have been saying that's why you hate that person the most, right? Because they're exactly like you. I'm sorry, I've listened to it from more than one therapist, psychiatrist, the whole freaking clusterfuck of everybody who looks at brains.
Yep.
The person you hate the most, 99% of the time, is the asshole who does the same shit you do.
Yep.
Have fun living with that. I'm gonna sit back and enjoy my view of the stupidity.
Yeah.
They hate it when you. Oh yeah. 'Cause I don't gaslight anybody. It's like I don't. Well, you do. Well, you do too. Oh, I know I do it. I don't do it near as bad as the rest of you.
Yeah, there's no point in gaslighting or to claim that you're not doing something, especially if, like, the only reason why I would say that I didn't do a thing is if I don't remember doing the thing. And if I don't remember it, I'll literally, like...
I didn't say that.
I'll literally rack my brain for hours trying to remember that part and be like, did I really do that? I want to make sure I'm accountable. And that's the only way that I end up, it's like, unintentionally gaslighting somebody, because it's not really me trying to do that. It's me trying to be like, wait.
You don't remember doing it. When did I do that? Da 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 da. And then you have to think about it for a minute and relive the situation. Oh, shit, I did, didn't I?
Yep. And then I'll end up bringing it up
For me,
later.
when somebody says it to me, the fuck are you talking about?
Yeah.
What? Hang on a minute. See, you don't, and they walk off, and I'm like, oh, you mean this? Actually, what I did when saying this is I meant it this way, not the way you perceived it, because you wanted me to look like the bad guy. What I was actually doing was this, which causes this, which means this person moves this way. Because you inserted yourself, that's how you made it look. That's not what I actually did.
Yep. It's like, this is what was intended, this is how it happened, so how do we work towards a solution that will prevent it from happening again, or at least try. That way you're keeping accountability while still, and social accountability while still trying to grow in life.
Well, I mean, somebody who comes at me immediately after I accidentally or didn't even realize I did something, I'm like, the fuck are you talking about? And then they like throw 100 other things at them. Hold the hell up. Go away. Why? Because you're literally giving me too much information and not letting me process it. That's the ADHD brain.
Yep.
Go away, let me process it, and I'll explain when you get back. And then they're so angry they don't even come back and talk to you. That you can't explain it. But you explained it to somebody else who was like, well, that is what you did. And no. Now that I've had 2 minutes to process the information given to me, this is what I was doing.
Yeah.
Not what y'all's perception or that idiot's perception was of the situation.
Yeah.
Because I remember I said this in this way. They perceived it as it was stated as a fact when I said this is one of the outcomes that might happen.
Yeah.
Not this is what's going to happen 100%.
Exactly.
Because I never say anything to 100%. I'm like, alright, this is what I'm going to attempt to do. If I don't actually get it done, I'm sorry. Remind me, and then maybe I'll do it.
Yeah.
Or bring it up and actually I said, we might, or it, you know, that's going to be the outcome we're going for, but I'm not sure if we'll actually get to that outcome.
Exactly.
And people hate that. I mean, no offense to my kids, my daughter hates it the most. Well, you said this. Did I say that's what I was going to do, or that's what we were going to attempt to do? And if I forgot to remind me, that's what you said you were going to try to do, and if you forgot, remind you. Thank you for reminding me, but because of what we did here, there's not enough money to do what I said we were going to do here. So you got to wait till tomorrow or the next day.
Mm-hmm.
Because money flow, if the flow isn't straight, then sorry, don't have the
Yeah, they don't have the funds
finances to do it. Yeah. Then it pisses the child off. I'm like, dude, you don't even have money. Shut up. Oh, I have this much in my bank account, which you're not allowed to touch until you're 18, 19 years old. Next argument.
Yep.
I'm sorry, you literally have money that sits there and grows. Shut up.
Yep.
We'll deal with it later. Well, bitch and complain, bitch. Yeah. Okay, bitch and complain. That's like An argument I had with the kid the other day. Literally same child. Well, I'm full of the dinner you made me. I want to eat ice cream. You're not allowed to have sugar because you're full of dinner. That makes no sense. Even though as soon as you eat something sweet, your belly is no longer full. It's something the human body does. Which means you just want the sugar, which means you're full of shit. Eat more food.
Yep.
No! Then you're not eating your snack. Bitch complain, run, yell. Okay, fine.
Like, bitch complain, yell, bitch complain.
Jumping down, scream, cry. Yeah, it's like, well, the argument is done.
Yep.
I'm the adult. And until I say otherwise, the answer is no.
The answer is fuck no.
No, it's because my brain, because the way my brain processes. Alright, you've cried for like half an hour, bitch for an hour. Alright, fine, you can have it because I'm not dealing with trying to feed you any more food and shut up, have you one snack 2 hours before bed.
Yeah.
And then shut up and leave me alone. That's how my brain processes it.
Yeah.
Bitch complain for sugar. Bitch complain for sugar. No. You know, until I'm almost can't speak, and then give it an hour. See if they understand what I said, even though I've said it like 10 times. And if they have, then we move on from that. Okay, because now that you understand and don't have your head shoved up your own ass, now we can negotiate for you having your snack.
Yeah.
But listen, I feel like an asshole. You should, because you assume. And assumes makes you and me an asshole.
Yeah.
What? Spell assume. I don't know how. Ass you me. What? Assume. A-S-S-U-M-E. Ass you me. You make an ass out of you and me.
Mm-hmm.
Where'd you learn that from your damn crazy grandfather? Which he learned it from his dad, who wasn't crazy and didn't get shot or, fall on his head.
Yep.
I'm sorry, that guy was so intelligent. After he retired from the military, he got a job working for the military as a civilian. So as far as I'm concerned, he worked for the military, did so well, worked for so long in the military, he got the top secret, don't tell nobody stuff.
Yep.
And he did the job so well, they retired him. And because he did the job so well, he could get a job doing the same job from the civilian end and getting paid more money.
Yeah.
I mean, the guy was literally a financial genius.
I believe that.
Because, yeah, Dad's dad was a genius. The only thing that he didn't plan out, which screwed my dad's mom in the end, was, and if he'd still been alive, he'd have seen it and pulled all his money out. But she was literally living off interest of $1 million stocks.
Really?
Essentially. Yeah. When the stock market went down 9/11/2000, she got completely fucked.
Wow.
If the stock market wouldn't have crashed, 9/11 wouldn't have happened. When she died, literally be sitting on fucking just money floating. Floating money. And probably all the kids would have got a percentage, and lunatic dad wouldn't be as bad of a lunatic because he wouldn't have to worry about money as much because we'd be getting enough money to literally pay the bills and he'd just be making money to do fun shit.
Yeah. And
Give or take
maybe I would have convinced him to
a
do his
few
actual food network
$100,000
show.
sort of thing.
Because I was telling him like last year before we even moved in that I was gonna try and get him to do his little cooking thing on
The barbecue thing.
create an actual YouTube channel for it, and then do a couple shows for him where I film it.
Because you're a
help
good
cut it.
camera guy.
Yeah. I film it, I cut it together, and then if he learns the process and learns how I did it, then he could replicate it and do it himself.
Or he just starts paying you as the...
Yep.
views he gets. Yeah.
Yep. Or I just become like one of the unofficial camera guys. But yeah, that's what I was gonna try to do.
I remember that. We talked about, what was that, like, actually we talked about that before you.
Oh.
While you guys were still at the, not the last apartment, the one before that.
Yep. This last year has just been tough to deal with.
23 because of the numerology of when our country became a country. Yes, it was predetermined this year was going to be the clusterfuck year. I already knew it before the end of the year anyways, because numerology came up like 5 or 6 times in September, October, November, and December of the end of last year. So like I said, I'm not worried about it. Next year I'll be above board, not in the negative, and just flow. Because 19 was my good year. That's the year that I could have done anything and basically been bullet and fireproof.
Yeah.
And I kind of did. This year's just been a giant cluster.
Yeah, this year is.
And I knew it was coming too, because, like I said, the last 4 months of the year, I literally heard people talking about it online and in certain circles with the mnemonics of how the system actually works that the Super League don't want us to know about. And looking at the mnemonics, next year will be a good year for this country. Or, like I said, it'll be the match going into the bonfire covered in gasoline.
Yeah.
Either way, I'm ready for it either way.
It'll be a bounce back and then followed by another match going on.
Well, it's the bounce back, which will last for 11 years, and then it'll be the next bonfire.
Yeah.
Because that's what they tried to do in 20, even though everything didn't go to complete shit, which pissed off some people.
Yeah.
And other people, they're like, oh, fuck. I mean, the most people were pissed off were the people who own the small businesses that can't keep their businesses going.
Yeah.
Which was the elite's plan all along. Oh, what? No, we still own everything.
Yep.
Bunch of fucking assholes.
Yeah, because if you really think about it, a lot of the stuff we absolutely need to have in our life is driven by the elites.
Well, they're the assholes who own everything. Fuck me.
Yeah.
I might actually, let's see, if I actually have it, actually see, okay, show me the picture, bitch, get the fuck off me, oh no, not that one. That one was from in person. Yep, nope, don't have it. I lost the sound button. That sucks. Alright, turn down brightness on the phone so it doesn't have forever.
Yeah, because we're closing out in a few minutes anyway.
Yeah, but one of the sound bites was talking about how in America we have this law against monopoly, but the companies that own a monopoly of stocks and the companies that make the most money, it's like 3 companies. I can't even remember the names. I swear I saved it somewhere. But that's neither here nor there. But it's
S&P's got to be one of them.
I don't remember. But it's 3 companies that own like the majority of stocks in the biggest, most money-making companies in the world.
Yeah.
So they literally own everything. And own enough of the stocks and enough of the countries. They're literally making the decisions for everything that's being shoved in front of our face or sold to us.
Yeah.
And it's not just in America, that's in the entire world. So.
Yeah, it's pretty fucked up.
I kind of already thought that was the way it went, because if you look at certain things, the there's like 4 companies that own everything. Like
Yeah.
you have Coke and Pepsi are owned by this company. And the only company is that company doesn't own and is its own independent company for drinks is Dr. Pepper. That's why I'm a big DP fan.
Yeah.
Because they're the ones that said, we're going to do it all ourselves.
Mm-hmm.
And become as rich as you assholes. Have fun. And my first thought is, yeah.
Yeah.
Because I love that mentality. If I could go back to Shawnee, Oklahoma, I'd literally go back and try to find a way to either work, I don't want to work in the factory because of my disability, but I want to like try to make enough money to own enough stock and Dr. Pepper to basically sit on the freaking. Alright, I'm one of the shareholders.
Yeah.
What are we doing? Who am I killing? How much money are we making this year? Because, what is the thing? To make the most money for Apple and Coke and Pepsi and any big brand on anything like AMD and Intel and that sort of shit,
Mm-hmm.
basically what you do is you end up owning enough stock where you get basically a stock shareholder's check at the end of the year for keeping the stocks up, making them money. You make more money as a shareholder than you do as a CEO of the like top 10 companies. That's one of those fun factoids that I've learned by just searching through sounds for fucking 2 hours before I go to sleep. What I know, to make the money is not the issue. The issue is having the funds to put the plan into forward motion, to basically become a multi-millionaire in 2 years or less. I have the plan, I don't have the finance yet. I have a few things that I'm going to figure out or work out so that way, maybe before Christmas, I'll have enough money so I won't be completely fucked and be able to just sit on my ass next year and make a buttload of money until everybody fuck off.
Yeah.
Here's your monthly check, shut up. Here's your monthly check, shut up. Oh yeah, hey, I love you too, motherfucker, shut up. That's the plan.
Yeah.
If I can get it started for the end of the year, yes. If I can't, then I'm gonna do it before freaking next summer, and it's gonna be a grind, but it's
Yeah.
because I'm gonna grind so hard, so fast, and when anything comes at me, have fun, stupid, bye.
Yeah.
I'm literally gonna become the biggest jackass by being the old school father from the 80s, the 70s, 80s, and 90s. I'm never home, everything's paid for, I have enough money to, if I want to, in less than 5 years I'll make enough money to sit on my ass, sit back, fuck, smoke, do whatever the hell I want and nobody will be able to touch me.
Yeah.
At
All
least
the
that's
earthly
the plan.
pleasures.
Oh, dude, because once I hit it, like, hey, Thomas, what? Here's $2,000, get the bitch started. Wait, what? Shut up. Everything else is covered. Here's the plan where you can become a millionaire in the next year, like I did in the first year. Go do it. Bye. Bye. Yeah, I gotta go fucking do shit. I got another 3 houses to buy in the neighborhood just to piss off people. What are you doing? I'm like owning all of 750, so that way, you know, we'll have enough studios to do whatever the fuck we want.
Yeah.
You know I'll do it too. I will find a way to do it. Or go, fuck that ain't good for you. Oh well, try again.
Let's try the other street.
Oh, I'm gonna pull some weird shit out of fucking middle of nowhere here in the next 2 years. I tried to do it. Well, you saw how the clusterfuck went the last couple of years. It was there, and then somebody threw a bomb at me, so it kind of stopped.
Yeah.
I gotta, because my brain's already in the spot. I had a hiccup because some shit happened. I know where the hiccup was, and I know how to, okay, rewind back to where I was, to basically sit on my ass and make millions by doing it.
Yeah.
I'm not quite there yet. Last year kind of fucked me up because of some shit that happened.
Yeah.
So I just have to get myself back into the mentality. I already know where to go, so I just got to go.
Exactly.
Any other sound bites you want to throw in, or speakeasies before we close off?
Pretty much just gonna say that that we're gonna figure out what we're gonna do for the next show, but in the meantime, I need to get myself back into writing, like reading and writing.
Have you hiccuped on it the last couple of weeks?
Yeah, because the school thing.
Having to alter the workout schedule and shit.
Just it's been hard to find a flow on it.
I get
Plus
that.
the wife has been having her own stuff, and then today she went ahead and injured herself again. So just
She's
trying to.
literally falling apart at the same time.
So we're just working on finding a way to. I'm basically trying to cruise through everything and just get everything going again. But yeah. Aside from that,
Best way to do it: clean your room.
yeah.
Because you spend most of your time in this room. It's not the bedroom you need to clean first. It's this room because this is your productivity room.
Yeah.
Once you have this thing like perfectly organized,
Mhm.
the bedroom and the kids' room will like be.
Yeah. No,
And
and
then
I've
the
already.
kitchen and front room will just fall into place.
Yeah, and I've already started on that anyway because I did the kids' room. They've already done our room for the most part.
Yeah, the
So,
one hiccup is this is your
room will
biggest
be a big
hiccup room.
focus.
I've noticed.
Yeah.
You can do the bedroom and the kids' room. That's easy for you.
Mhm.
This is the one where you have the most trouble. I think this is where you need to go first.
Yeah.
Because this is your productivity space. Because once this is flattened, then mom can do her sewing while you're working if she needs to.
Yep.
With the couple projects I've given her, because this and everything just falling apart in here has completely fucked a whole bunch of shit.
Mhm.
Which has put mom off step, because this was supposed to be her also work office for doing projects.
Yeah.
And the whole clusterfuck that's happened has completely freaked her off.
Yeah. So we just need to get that solved, and then from
Because
there.
once you organize
figure that
this, I can guarantee you, because the way your brain works, with your productivity, everything else
Will
will
fall in
be
line.
an easy just waterfall falling down the hill.
Yeah.
The river will just go downhill and it'll just fall into place.
Yeah. I feel that. That's why I'm more going to be working on getting this room taken care of. Alan was suggesting to move the table itself and then move my desk over here and just kind of flip the room around. And I'm just like,
Well, that won't
Wonder
help
what I
mom
wanna do.
because the sewing machine's there.
That's-
The flip
that's
of the
what I was
room,
saying.
you'd hit. Honestly, moving all that stuff's no big. But I think he would be better off over there. If you're gonna move this over there to get this side of the room to have a little bit more space, then it would be Lizard there, computer, work shit there, printer for the office and the house. Here, mom's sewing stuff there. Everything else that isn't needed, trash, and everything that shouldn't be in here, shoved. Thrown out. Kids don't fit it, chunk it.
yeah.
Because, no offense, the biggest issue I've seen is, oh, DI bag it. Fuck that, trash.
Yeah.
No offense to anybody.
Yeah, no offense taken.
Just a blueprint.
This ring just became
ideal.
a catch-all.
If you want to organize it, I think that would be the best organization for you because you have your pet next to you while you're working, which will keep you happy and calm because you can always see the pet.
Yeah, that's fair.
And you've had that one for, I think, the longest now.
No, I've only had Jupiter for short, like this last year.
Oh, has it only been a year?
Yeah.
Well, I mean, but it's also like that's like your animal.
Yeah.
More than the cats, honestly, because you have always been more compassionate and emotionally attached to the lizards more than cats and or dogs.
Well, there's Aries.
Except for, yeah, I was gonna say except for Aries.
Yep.
Other than Aries, your biggest attachments have always been the lizards.
That's fair. It's a fair assessment. But I'm pretty
Because
sure.
you've always had it.
Pretty sure that the cats are my buddies though. But
Well, no, I'm not trying to discount them. I'm just saying, from my
Yeah.
viewpoint, especially with since you've been with Judy, it's the biggest
Dogs and
one has
reptiles.
been the dog and your dragons.
Yeah.
Other
That's
than
fair.
that, it's kind of like, yeah, okay, I have more pets.
Yeah, Sim and Dave have just been like the cats.
They're there.
Yeah, they've been like the cats that we've had for the longest time now. And before
But
them,
they're
I was not.
cats. They
I-
don't
I
really
was-
need you except for feed me, fucker.
Yeah. You know, it's funny because I was never really a cat person before them. So that checks.
I was a cat dog person. I couldn't give a shit. It's furry. It likes me petting it. Okay, I'll keep it.
Yeah.
My only issue is, well, the wife says her cat. I say mine because mine got killed by the neighbors that used to live in the catty corner.
Yeah.
Cocksuckers.
But
yeah.
yeah, next week we will talk more about stuff. I probably will actually share some writing, which will help me motivate me
Yay.
to work and stuff. But in the
And
meantime,
I'll try to watch like 2 or 3 episodes of Omens too. This week has been a complete clusterfuck for me too. I mean,
yeah.
you've seen it.
Mm-hmm.
Having to adjust the workout schedules like completely threw me off the fucking wacky.
Yeah. And I think that a lot of people that are adults have had that happen to them.
Gotta adjust my schedule. Kids are going back to school. Yeah, let's adjust the. Oh, shit. I hate the beginning of school because it's like, no. Okay, that's
Yeah.
fuck. We're so screwed on that day and that day. Shit.
Exactly. But in the meantime, this is TPAW,
Karnage 6778.
and that's been Crazy Piece for this week. Have a week. Go do something awesome. Create something. And until next time.
And maybe next week he won't be damaged.
Yeah, maybe next week my eye won't be so fucked up. But yeah, have a week, and